Like, this, that, I'll you up.
I actually just discovered that feature.
Oh, wow. That's much better.
It is much better, right?
'Cause I thought we were like in like the bottom of a well.
No, exactly. I just actually discovered that feature. You can do a bunch of crazy shit right there.
I like
you can do like high voices, low voices, and
like
all
as
sorts
time
of
goes
stuff.
on, you'll like figure it out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I kind of just want to have like normal conversations with people, not necessarily
Start like fucking around with the soundboard.
do all sorts of crazy shit. Yeah.
That's
but
cool.
It sounds nice though, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
Like it's
super
like
clear.
Yeah, very clear. Kind of like locks you into. It's
They're
like,
like in my head.
exactly. It's a very interesting way to have a conversation. We're like just locked in right here.
Super locked in.
Just because also too you can hear your own voice just as good as you can hear like the person you're talking to versus a normal conversation. You're just like talking and like sometimes you're like and don't really listen at all. But like
Right.
now you like hear your voice just as well as you hear other people's voice. It's like
Less likely to talk over each other and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like your setup.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I have a good feeling about this. I think
Nice.
you're gonna like kill it with this, and
Yeah.
like it's gonna keep going.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm just excited just to do it. Honestly, just like come and talk and hang out with my homies and do it in like a fun way.
I agree.
Yeah, we were like in California, like talking about like, or just having sick combos and be like, "Fuck, this should be on the pod right now."
I know, dude. We should just like have people following us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
No credentials on the road.
exactly. We could do that now. Honestly, all this stuff is mobile. I'm pretty sure it'd be like probably like a hassle to fucking move it around.
We
But
need like one of those Steve-O vans.
exactly.
Seen it? Like a pod van.
No, I don't think
He
I've
has
seen
like a
that.
van
Huh.
with a podcast studio in it, and he just like travels to
Oh,
different
wow.
places and like
That's pretty cool.
interviews random people.
There's this place in downtown Phoenix where it's like the place that they have like leased is like it's right in front of the line for some bar. So this bar will have like a line of like 30 people and they'll try to like interview people on a podcast, like a live podcast as like just drunk people are in line to go into the bar.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like just
Convenient location. They just have like a window out front and they're like, "Hey, do you want to hop on the pod?"
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to like get that going with the gym. I think
Yeah.
I mentioned it last week.
Okay.
Where I'm gonna like one day a week record the entire training session.
I think
And,
that'd
like,
be cool.
Because I just go around and like half coach people and like half talk shit to everybody. So it's like
Just
tiny little mini interviews as I'm coaching.
Exactly.
And then make like highlight reels of like the rolling. And
Yeah. I think that'd be
training.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just like documenting the roles in general is like fun.
Yeah. We have a lot of interesting people at the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all kinds of time, things people say. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. We should put that in a pocket. We should have a heart to heart, like in the
Yeah.
middle of practice.
It's interesting what different types of people get into jiu-jitsu.
I know.
You know, there's
All
like
walks
your
of life.
construction workers, there's like doctors, there's
like the
fucking
kids that are like barely have any money, but like just enough to come to jiu-jitsu.
just enough and like they're sending it with it.
It's a
The
good
people that maybe shouldn't train jiu-jitsu and like should like focus on other parts of their life. But
I
do
love
it
you
anyways.
being here, bro, but go do some other
Yeah.
shit. Like figure out life.
Exactly.
But it is a good like place
Mm-hmm.
to where you can have a good outlet.
Yeah, for sure. It
Like,
is.
Not many places you get to go and like choke people and
No,
be
not at all.
choked and like and then be friends.
Yeah,
after.
exactly.
It's
yeah.
a good outlet.
It is a very good outlet. Also, too, one thing I've said is about jiu-jitsu is that, like, if the people that train jiu-jitsu, it's like they have at least one thing in their life that they're working to better themselves at. Like, that's not even common, I think, just amongst most people. Like, most people don't necessarily have even one thing that they're trying to better themselves at.
I just like go through the routine and like
They just have
come
like a
home,
job
sleep.
that they hate, and then they just fucking, get drunk at night and then restart in the morning and then until the weekend and then just, fucking zone out all weekend. And then just that's how their whole life ends up going.
No, yeah, a lot of jiu-jitsu people are like lifelong learners.
Yeah.
The
The people that stick with it long
they're
term
like
for sure.
trying to like master a couple of things at once, or maybe
Yeah.
not even master, but just like get better at it because they find satisfaction at like
Yeah.
getting better at things.
Yeah, exactly.
Jiu-jitsu is a pretty fun thing to get good at.
It's pretty fucking fun.
Like every time I open the door, I go in there, I'm like, ooh, my friends are about to show up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Show them some cool shit, and they're gonna choke each other.
And the more better you get at it too, like the more like well your rolls go, which is interesting too, because I actually never got upset about like getting beat up at the beginning. I don't know. Like some people, like I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of people to get over.
Yeah,
is
no,
that,
you got to
like,
seek that.
Yeah.
You got to seek getting your ass kicked.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's how you get better.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, like everything in life's like that, right?
You got to suck at first before
Yeah.
you can get good at something. Like Mike Tyson says, you got to be a fool before you can become an expert.
That makes sense. Because I mean, that kind of takes a lot of the fun out, right? If there's like
Yeah.
a button you can press and
Just
like
instant expert.
you're all of a sudden
Yeah.
an expert.
Yeah, part of like what's so cool about it is like it takes a lot of time to get to there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Enjoying the process and like just seeing like little incremental
Yeah.
changes, and then
Right.
sometimes you go backwards. You
Yeah.
might get injured.
Yeah.
You might fucking move,
You
have
just
a
have, like-
baby, whatever.
Yeah.
It could be a really positive thing that stops you from coming in all the times, but you know, basically what happens over a 10-year period is what makes a difference in life, right?
Exactly.
Like if
yeah.
you go into any field and you expect to kick ass right away, you're just setting yourself up to like for disappointment,
Very unlikely.
especially
yeah.
in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Unless you want people to just lay over and pretend like, oh,
Yeah,
you're a badass.
exactly. Yeah, and that doesn't work. What about like, do you think in like fucking like the Neuralink or something is gonna change that? If you can just become
I
a
hope
super
not.
genius right away, it kind of takes away some of the satisfaction of it.
I'll, you know, Neuralink, I'll use that to like fly and shit in my
Yeah.
head, but like I don't want to like use it to get better at real life things.
What if you become?
Maybe like assist me, but like not like just press this button and I'm
Yeah.
like an expert or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, then
If you just learn jujitsu right away. Like the Matrix is like,
Yeah.
I know jujitsu.
that's cool. Maybe like right before a match.
Yeah.
Turn it back off.
You just
after
become the
match.
most expert.
Yeah. Download Bushesha.
It like part of like the satisfaction comes from like it being like difficult to get.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'll play the lottery of it sometimes, but also too, I'm like, fuck, if I win, it's gonna like, no one's gonna respect you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, he just
You
won
ain't
the
got to worry
lottery.
about that. You ain't going to win it. So. Oh, what am I going to do if I have $100 million?
Yeah, I guess there'd be worse things.
Right? Or
Yeah.
people that win, the people are like, oh, if you win the lottery, the government takes half of it. It's like,
Still the fucking lottery.
$50 million. Like,
Yeah,
Who cares?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's
more than a
probably
dollar.
still worth it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I never really play it, but
it's not worth it.
it's not.
Yeah.
I've heard people call it dumb people tax.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You know?
like tax on the poor people.
Poor people tax. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm going to, like, it's just, you get this little endorphin
Yeah.
rush. You're like, oh, if I win, I'm going to say fuck you to
Just buy all this
everybody.
stuff.
Like,
It really is like an endorphin rush. Like you see, it's like 1.5 billion, and then you
Sure.
play it, and then you're like, oh, like if I were to
There's a
get
chance.
this, you think about like what stuff you would buy, and I think that is like maybe just a good like maybe mental exercise to do without playing the lottery. It's like, oh, if I just fucking work my ass off, like this, I could buy eventually.
Right. Like
Yeah.
the way basically look at it as like leveling up in a video game, right?
Yeah.
People will like go get their ass kicked 80 times by the boss
Yeah.
to like figure out how to maneuver around
Yeah.
and figure out the patterns. But they won't do that in real life.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? I've been guilty of that in the past. I don't by all means do not have anything figured out.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun. Like
Yeah.
the unknown.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
not knowing like, okay, if I take this risk, like what are all the things that can go wrong? It's like, well, we'll find out in real time.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons like I enjoy competition. I enjoy like, telling people, hey, like if you compete, the lessons you learn will be like they're gonna really stick.
Yeah. For
You
sure.
know, versus like
Especially like as far as your jujitsu game, it's like it's clearly obvious that like
Yeah.
you fucked up at this point.
or like people will tell me like, coach, do you think I'm ready to compete? I'm like, what do you mean by ready? Like to win or to like
Just
yeah,
to send it.
Like what? You know, basically for me, like you know how to fall. You have a couple good takedowns.
Yeah.
You have a couple good submissions. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Go test the waters
Yeah.
and like, again, what happens like in the long run that matters, right? People see
Yeah.
the person at the top of the podium and they're like, oh, he's so talented, but they don't see all the times he lost.
For sure.
Like I was hearing like how Bushesha is one of the greatest of all time, right? In jiu-jitsu, he lost his first 9 tournaments.
Yeah.
No one's
At level.
talking about that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And, like,
last-
yeah, he was just like a kid just losing, whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Kept showing up, and then here he is.
Now he's Bushesha.
Yeah.
Yeah. His first like 9 matches that he
You
lost.
didn't wake
yeah.
up. You have to create that.
Yeah.
And again, that's like the exciting part.
Also, too, like a lot of white belts get like overly concerned about like no matter what happens, even if you win it, it's not going to be the highlight of your career. If
No,
you're in it for the
yeah.
long run, you know, like win or lose, it doesn't really matter too much either way.
Not
Like if you
really.
get fucking subbed first round and that's it, it's
Been
like
there.
yeah, yeah,
Many
that's
times.
it happens.
Yeah.
But you're also gonna like go to a grocery store later that day, and half the people there don't even know what jujitsu is.
They're not gonna be like, oh, get out of the way. He just won the Naga.
Exactly.
Let him cut the line.
Yeah, literally,
Who cares?
like yeah, like oh, you're a blue belt. That means what? I don't even know what that means.
I mean,
Yeah.
jujitsu like is such like a personal journey, right?
Yeah.
It's like, unless like you want to pour everything into it to like become a professional jiu-jitsu player, which some people do. We have a few kids at the gym right now
Yeah.
that are like, "Hey, coach, I want to be a professional jiu-jitsu athlete." I'm like, "Be ready for a long, like gruesome journey, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be worth it at the end, no matter what happens."
A lot of ups and downs.
And you know, a lot of times, like when you go into a field and you expect like certain things, they might not work out exactly the way you want, but you can figure out how to get your foot in the door in that field
Yeah.
and still do what you love.
And still do still have a great impact.
You know, like when I started jiu-jitsu, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna own a gym.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like be on no credentials. A joke. You know?
Yeah.
I was
that wasn't
like-
necessarily the goal.
So I'm gonna be a UFC champion.
Yeah.
What the
Was that the goal when you first started?
When
Was
I
like to
started
get into UFC?
jiu-jitsu, yeah, me and my buddy Jonathan Van Buren, we started jiu-jitsu. We're like, we want to be UFC fighters.
Oh wow. Huh.
You know, and then like we kept doing jiu-jitsu, and you know, like I really fell in love with just the art of grappling. And not-
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, because you also had like a MMA career, or like you
I wouldn't
went,
call it a career.
you had some amateur and pro fights, right?
I had 3 amateur fights and 2 professional fights.
Oh, nice, cool. And you won all of them, right?
I did.
Oh, okay, that's
Some of
very
them
cool.
were really rough, but I figured out a way to like come out on top at the end of the mat.
Wow.
At the fight, but
So 3-0 in amateur and 2-0 in professional.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Why did you stop doing it?
basically the risk to reward. Yeah, I was
Did you-
just like
As
I
far
don't
as like
see
getting
myself-
like hurt in MMA.
getting hurt, brain damage, the commitment it takes to become really good at MMA.
Yeah.
My mind wasn't there. You know, I'm like, I want to do jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
You know?
Well, that's an interesting way to do it, because often like you'll see, I'll go to like a local promotions and stuff, and it'll be a lot of guys sort of debut, or it'll be like, you know, just not necessarily. I think that I've seen like amateur and pro fights, but a lot of the records sometimes will be like 1-4 and they're sending it, or it's like this guy's 39 years
Yeah.
old with like 2 wins and 7 losses, and it's like he's still sending
That's
it.
just for the love of the game.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
you were young and 5-0 essentially, and you decided to still
I
give
think
it up.
I had my first fight at 19,
Okay, wow.
and then I had one a year.
Oh, okay, wow.
You know, and honestly, I didn't really do what it takes to like be ready for an MMA fight. My training camps were like, oh, I'm
Jiu-jitsu?
gonna do like 6 weeks of kickboxing,
Oh,
like,
okay, huh. Wow.
and like go to an MMA class here and there. Just mainly focused on jiu-jitsu.
Wow. That's an interesting thing, because you would think like a lot of people, especially being young, doing very well, good record, what would be the
Yeah, and
reason
this is
to-
like back in the DZ.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in like the martial arts age.
Yeah, exactly.
10 years ago was a
10
long
years
time ago.
Yeah, it's the sport's
But-
evolved massively.
I don't know when I had my last fight. Maybe it was like 2012. It's been
wow.
like a minute.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
was it like a rough fight, and then you came out on top, and you're like, fuck, I don't know if it could have went either way, or you were just like, what was like the decision?
It's like the accumulation of the whole thing. You know, like again, I only fought once a year, so I never really got in the groove
yeah.
of like.
Which, like,
3,
if you're
4
really trying
times
to
a
stay
year.
active, yeah,
You need
like
to
once
fight-
a quarter,
you need to
probably.
fight every
Yeah.
quarter, probably, right? I did have some fights fall through, but it is what it is. Like I could have probably
Yeah.
searched for more, right? But just there's Pan Am's coming up.
Yeah.
There's Nogi World.
Yeah.
There's ADC trials. So I just fell in love with jiu-jitsu, and then, I got inspired by seeing like other people like own gyms. I'm like, they can do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like a path for like a career. Wow.
And then I had my wife come into my life, and she really pushed me in that direction, which was really cool, because I don't know if I would have ever owned a gym if it wasn't for Margaret,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's just like, dude, you're really good. People like learning from you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're just my girlfriend. That's what you're saying, that. But
You're just being nice to me.
you're just being nice. But
Yeah.
she was right.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. Yeah.
And like when you start a new business, especially like where I was at, I was just a jiu-jitsu guy. I had no money.
Yeah.
How am I going to pay rent for the building, right? You need like support. or you need to take out a loan or something.
Or
right?
work like extra jobs.
Yeah.
Which you did as well.
Which I did that.
Yeah.
I worked in a landscaping company for the first 2 years. We had One Love Grappling Arts, and the day I stopped doing the landscaping job, it was just like,
It was a big deal.
God, look at all the extra energy and time I have.
Wow. That's
You
really
know?
cool.
Yeah.
What a
It
good thing.
was fun.
That's really cool.
I don't want to ever do it again. I don't want to ever start over again, but
Wow. But it's also like really great to like have that as part of your path. And
Yeah.
like that's what you went through.
makes me appreciate what's going on.
Yeah, and where you're at right now. Now we're fucking about to open up the new spot, like 5,500 square feet.
Oh, man, I
Just
can't
it's gonna be
wait.
sick, built out like per your specifications.
Custom mats,
Yeah.
locker rooms,
It's gonna
showers,
be sick.
bathrooms, changing rooms.
What's the spot called? The recovery.
So yeah, me and my wife are opening another business inside of the gym,
Yeah.
and it's going to be called Phoenix Recovery Spa. We're
Wow.
going to have like cold plunges,
Yep.
sauna, those compression things on your
Yeah,
legs, that
awesome.
massage
Yeah,
your
Greg
legs.
has those things.
Red light therapy room.
Yeah.
It's going to be sick.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about
So
that.
that's going to be probably coming. Probably about 2 months after we get the new One Love location going, because you've been a part of the process of trying to open this new place, right?
Yeah.
They're like
a lot of delays.
months and months behind schedule. Like,
Yeah.
Because when was it that you helped us get the lease? Like February or something.
I think it was last year actually.
it was like early this year, maybe.
No, it was for sure last year because like the way I've got like splits with my company. The way it works out is like it like resets every year. So I'm positive it was like either November or December last year.
Right, and they're
That we,
like,
like-
look, your lease starts in July, and
Yeah.
our build out will be done by April.
Yeah.
And then you guys can come and set up.
Yeah.
Here we are, mid-August.
Yeah. Almost end of August.
And I go in and I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys aren't done yet. What
Yeah.
the fuck's going on? So they're telling me first week of September now, but I'm taking
They said
that
guaranteed.
guaranteed, right?
Wow.
We'll see about that.
We'll see.
I'm not
Yeah.
like too optimistic, but
Yeah.
you learn to like grow a thick skin too when you
Yeah.
run your own business.
So much shit
like-
happens negatively.
Yeah. It's so hard to
so
like
much shit
not
goes
take
wrong.
things personally
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
sometimes, but I'm just like, well, it is what it is.
I feel like the universe often will like test you with shit and see like how you respond to it
Yeah.
to see if you're like ready for the next test.
Sure.
You know, like it'll come in a bunch of different forms, but the universe will say, here's this big challenge and sees how you respond to it.
Yeah.
And then based on that, it will give you like bigger and better challenges.
Yeah.
You know?
Basically, like you have to like remove yourself from the situation and look at it from an outside point of view.
Yeah.
Like, there's been situations
Usually
where I'll
it's
freak
not
out.
personal. Yeah.
I'll freak out, and then I'm like, well, if my friend was doing this, I would come from an outside point of view and be like, don't freak out, bro.
Not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. I'm like, but it's happening to me,
Yeah.
and it feels so real,
Yeah.
But it'll
You know-
go. It'll pass.
Looking at like videos of like stoicism has helped me a lot with that. That like you just have to like control whatever you can control.
Yeah.
It's like the main philosophy of stoicism is putting everything into two buckets, like shit I can control and shit I can't. And everything that's annoying in your life or a big deal, I gotta just like decide, can I control this? Can I not control this? And like if I can control it, I'll put like I'll fucking do whatever I can. If I can't control it, I just gotta like not worry about it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because,
that's a
like,
hard concept to
it's-
get grasped, but it's so basic.
It's very basic. Yeah.
It's like if you can't do
If I
anything
can't
about
control
it, don't
it,
worry about
why
it.
am I worrying about it?
And there's pretty much like, as far as business goes, I know there's things in life that happens, but like there's nothing that you can't recover from unless you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
If you don't do anything about it, sure, it'll
Yeah.
keep compiling
It'll
up.
fester and get worse and
But
worse.
if you're like doing something every day that you can to like fix it, it'll fix.
Yeah.
The universe is not out to get anyone.
No, it's not.
Sometimes people just like manifest their own failure, and they just or me. Like it's hard not to be like that. I get
It
it because
is,
it's so much
yeah.
easier to do that, right?
It is. Yeah.
It's
But
just
actually,
not meant
it's,
to be.
it's really not easier in the long run because if you get into that point of where you're like wallowing in yourself, like shit just gets worse and
Yeah.
worse and worse.
Choose
and
your
like,
suck, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to either struggle in like life is horrible, or you have to struggle in life is difficult, but I'm trying to make it better.
Exactly.
And you're like taking on willing struggles that are super difficult, often much more difficult than actually just sitting at your house
Yeah.
wallowing, but it's a voluntary struggle that you can overcome, and when you do overcome it successfully, it's so
Oh
satisfying.
man, the sky's so blue on the other side.
it's
The grass
amazing.
so fresh.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's really cool.
It just comes in waves, right?
Yeah, Exactly.
And just how you react to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes just sitting back and like
Yeah.
being meditative about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in it, but at the same times,
Mm-hmm.
like you can, you don't have to freak out every time
Exactly,
something
you
happens.
don't. Also, too, I think it's important, like, having, like, people in your life. Like, you're a great friend of mine and someone, like, from the beginning, I think we were, like, at similar stages when you first opened up the gym, and I was only probably 6 months into real estate or something, that, like, we were both just, like, taking bets on ourselves.
Yeah.
While probably 80 to 90% of people in general mostly, like, have some sort of salary job or some sort of hourly job or some sort of something that they just hate doing. And it's maybe pays the bills and they're okay with it, but it's, that's all it is.
Soul sucking.
Yeah, it sucks for
Yeah.
a lot of people. Maybe some people are very happy with that, but like I was never very happy with that. I always like hated having like a boss and everything. And like from the beginning, I was doing this very difficult pursuit. I also worked 2 jobs and like I was, and still made time for jujitsu. But at points I was having like multiple 16-hour days in a row, which it's like,
I've seen you do it.
yeah, it's like, it's tough. When you work 16 hours in a day, you've got like, at the time I was living at my mom's place too, about like an hour commute each day, plus 16 hours. I mean, you basically have like 30 minutes at home in the morning and afternoon to like, get ready and go to sleep, and then 5-6 hours of sleep, and that's your whole day. You just do it over and over.
Yeah.
And it's fucking soul sucking. Like it made me like a little bit crazy at one point, because at one point I remember like thinking like I don't have any interactions with people that are like voluntary. Like I'll interact with my people at work, and actually, my job is like cold calling people, like really trying to talk to people. Like I'd be calling people all the time. My second job was like always restaurants. I would be talking to people through that, but it was always like through work. I never had, or for a period, like there was a period where like I wasn't talking to anyone just for the fun of it, just for
Right.
like talking. And it was like, I felt like I was going a little crazy actually. But, it was just, I felt like it was something that I had to do, or, I just had like big goals, and I felt like I had to like, make sacrifices in certain ways. And so I basically just sacrificed my social life for like a few years in a row.
Yep.
And it was sort of a similar thing when I was finally able to quit. At the time I was working at a sushi place was the last. When I was finally able to quit raw sushi, it was like a really big deal for me. I was like,
I remember
fuck
that.
it. Yeah, I was like, yeah, let's
I
fucking
was so
go.
happy for you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And like same for you, like seeing us like both level up slowly in life. Like it was very inspirational too. Like, oh, someone I know
Yeah.
is going through the same thing and they're not quitting.
Yeah.
Like we didn't necessarily keep each other accountable, but the little talks
No.
we had along the way
Yeah.
was like, all right, keep going, bro. Like
Let's
always
go.
positive, never like, oh, dude.
Yeah. Life sucks for this and that.
Yeah.
And actually, that's another thing, too. It's like, I remember at the beginning of it, too, I just had a bunch of friends from high school that, like, were fucking basically losers in a lot of different ways.
Oh, yeah.
I had to just stop hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And, like, that was the basically social life sacrifice. It went from, do I spend my couple hours of free time, 1 or 2 days a week with
wasting
this
time.
loser? Or do I just, like, spend it alone completely? And, like, I decided to do that because... it's not easy to make friends either.
No.
It's not like all of a sudden if you don't have any friends, you could just, call someone and have a great friendship or something. So
Yeah.
I decided the friends that I did have, I'm like, I felt like it was just a negative influence in my life. And so I decided to cut that from my life. And that was like a difficult thing too. But yeah, like having just a fucking homie that's like sending it.
Yeah, you gotta make those cuts. It sucks. In the beginning, but in the long run, you're like, oh, thank God I did. There's some friends I had in the past where I'm like, wow, they're still in the same place.
Yeah, exactly.
And every time I tell them, like, oh, I accomplished this, we've done, oh, cool, that's cool. They're not even happy for you because they can't stand it. I came from where they came from, and now I'm here. They're still over there.
Yeah,
it sucks. I want better for them, but you can't. You gotta want it, for yourself.
Gotta want it yourself. Yeah, that's another thing. You can't really help other people too. I've like realized early like that, like you like spend a lot of time trying to like better someone else's life. It's like it doesn't work. They gotta want it for themselves. You gotta fucking cut the wood or burn with it.
Right.
You know?
It sucks, but again, sometimes in the long run it might be better for them.
Yeah. Like
know?
I remember actually in college I had this roommate that was like such a fucking evil influence on me. Like I didn't realize like how bad it really was until later, but like he stole from me. I remember catching him steal from me, and it was just like a really like bad person in general. And I remember there was this point in my life where like our lease was coming to an end, and we were gonna have to talk about like, are we moving away? Are we moving together, or like in a new place? And I knew it was gonna be a huge deal, like this massive argument we were gonna get into if we were gonna like not move together. And I ended up just getting arrested and evicted. So
I didn't expect that.
it took care of that. I actually just had to move somewhere else without him. But that separation from him, it just happened. Like, honestly, it was like, I felt like, you know, even though it was this bad thing that happened in my life, I felt like it was the universe like helping me out in a certain way. That like we separated, and it was just it was so beneficial for my life. Like he ended up like starting doing heroin and stuff later, and just being just all around, just life went down. And the people that you hang out around with have such a big influence in your life. Like people talk about like you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with, and people take that for granted, but it's so fucking true.
It's true.
It's very true.
How could you not be?
You have to be
like
strict.
Your time.
Yeah, and
know?
if you take that for absolute truth, you should be extremely strict with the people that you allow in your life. And so I have been like, I don't really hang out with people that like I don't. That's one thing, again, that's so great about jiu-jitsu. Like, you know, no matter what, even if you're fucking up in other parts of your life, like you have at least one thing in your life that you're trying to get better at. And so if you're sticking in jiu-jitsu for a long time, and typically how it works, especially people who stay in it for a long period, is that like jiu-jitsu has this ripple effect where if you are really trying your best in jiu-jitsu, you're going to start trying your best in other ways. Like it does for me too, especially like if I'm, you know, trying to compete and trying to make different weights, I have to also be healthy and like not drink all the time. And like, you know, it has like ripple effects in the rest of my life.
Yeah. Like momentum is a big thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like same thing with life. Like if you want to level up, you just keep chipping away.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to see it when you're in it. But when you look back, you're like, okay, these choices I made brought me here. And
Yeah.
I can just continue this process and see it through.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing about jiu-jitsu, right? Like it's very fun, but you're going to be the nail when you start. Like that's just how it works.
That's just how it works.
You know, even like I've seen people that are just like really super athletic and strong, is like it'll be almost like buying a Ferrari but not knowing how to drive it.
Yeah.
You know, you can get injured, you can take things for granted. I'm already beating all the white belts. It's like, dude,
Doesn't
go
mean anything.
compete.
Yeah.
You know,
Do it in competition.
do it in competition.
That's a big
do it
thing
under
too.
pressure.
It's so much different.
Yeah.
You know, Danaher, he always has like these like long, like philosophical points and posts and stuff. But he made one the other day that was really interesting. He talked about like some guy had this plank that he put in between 2 buildings, like 100 stories in the air. And it was like the Twin Towers or something. It was like, it wasn't the actual Twin Towers, but it was 2 buildings that were massively tall. And he put this plank in between and like ran across in between. And these guys, everyone was on the bottom floor looking at it like, oh my fucking God, look at this guy. This is insane. They were just, you know, enamored with like this guy just running across this little plank, you know, 100 feet, a couple 100 feet in the air. And then afterwards, he came down and took the plank and put it on the ground and was like, now you guys run across. And everyone ran across. He's like, it's the same plank here and up there. The only difference is your perception of the plank. That's why it's so much more difficult up there, is because the perception is different. So he's like, the only difference between training and competition is your perception of the difference. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a role. It's a jiu-jitsu role. The difference is just your perception of it.
Makes sense.
So I thought that was a pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of it comes down to preparation too, right?
Yeah.
Like the worst is like when you have a comp coming up and you're like, I didn't train hard enough. You're like just walking into slaughter basically.
Yeah, well, it goes back to like if like putting shit into like stuff you can control or can't. If you could control something and you didn't, that like is a reason to be concerned.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing that Boss Ridden talks about is like the one thing that you should definitely have under control when you go into competition is your cardio. Everything else is unknown. I don't know who I'm going to go against.
Yeah.
I don't know what they know.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, but if you go out there and get tired right away, you're done.
That's my cardio has been always like so terrible. I feel like recently it's gotten a little bit better. Like I don't feel super tired later in rounds, but I've felt like almost my whole career, like basically I'll go out and compete and just be so tired after the first round.
That's like, isn't that normal though?
Yeah,
Like
or
you just got to tell yourself like everyone's fucking tired.
yeah, after the first round.
Because like I see you train, like it's gonna be you train a lot more
Yeah.
than a lot of professionals do.
Yeah.
Like you're putting in the work. You know, you're putting in the rounds and
Yeah.
going to where you need to go to, recovering, eating right.
Yeah.
It's just
Lately, I've
happens.
actually felt a little bit better about it, but just in general, I don't know. I feel like almost it's like maybe like a mental thing. Like when you and I like run sprints together or do stuff like that, I feel like, okay, I've like put in the cardio work additionally, you know? Because like some people say if you want like better jujitsu cardio, just do more jujitsu.
Not, I agree with that, right? But at the same time, I think there's a lot to strength and conditioning.
Yeah, like additional work on top of it.
Just redlining,
Yeah.
sprinting uphill.
Yeah.
Like
Your extracurriculars.
some of the best comps I've had is because they couldn't, I broke them down.
Your cardio was a weapon.
It was a weapon,
Yeah.
basically. Like,
Yeah.
or look at all these scrambles in the first 3 minutes. And then
the last 3
who's
minutes.
swimming at the end? Who's drowning at the end?
Exactly.
I've been on the other side too.
Yeah,
I'm
for
just like,
sure.
Save me.
Like, why did I sign up for this?
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Been there way too often,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Hey, that's just part of it. That's
Yeah.
part of the journey.
What am I gonna do? Like sit around and like not compete? Like fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we were talking about the unknown. It's exciting. There's not right before you go out on the mat.
It's a big
You're
unknown.
stepping into the huge unknown.
Exactly.
And you
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen in an hour.
Yeah.
I might be walking off the mat limping.
Maybe.
You know? I don't know.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Injuries are a part.
Yeah. Or I might walk off the mat and be like, dude, this is the best performance I ever had in my life.
That's fucking
And
sick
that's
too.
why we go out there, right?
Yeah.
Is to give yourself the opportunity to be in a position where you can potentially do something.
Do that. That's one
awesome.
of the most satisfying things. So when you go out, put it on the line, because the feeling before is always the same of like unsurety. You're not sure what's gonna happen, and then walking away with a sick fucking highlight reel is one of the coolest things.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, it's one of the
Yeah.
coolest
It's
things.
one of those things like money can't buy that.
No, they
You
can't.
literally can't.
Literally cannot.
Because if you did, then you'll know that like, yeah, I paid the other guy. It's like, who are you doing that for?
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah, that'd be
Sick.
crazy.
Well, you want to see one of the things I brought you? It's
Okay,
very,
sure.
Very random.
All right, yeah.
One of the things I brought from
I
Iran.
honestly completely forgot. No way.
Check this out. This is saffron.
What is saffron?
So it's like a part of a flower
Oh wow.
that you can put into food for like food coloring and
Oh,
aroma.
wow. Interesting.
Have you seen that yellow rice that Persians eat?
Yeah.
They put a few of those in there.
Okay.
That's like a lifetime.
I maybe have eaten. Oh really? This is.
Yeah,
oh, you
this
just
is-
put like it.
You put like 3 pieces in there.
Oh, okay.
And it like
Interesting.
colors the whole thing.
Wow, how nice.
Yeah.
You brought this straight from Iran? Mm-hmm. Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
I brought a whole suitcase of like random shit, like
Different
at
stuff?
customs. They
Wow,
were like,
how amazing.
they're
Well,
like,
thank
let's,
you so
let's
much.
look inside. You're welcome. Let's look
Oh.
inside your bag. Let's see if you brought anything
Here,
random.
cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Salamati.
Salamati.
Want to know
Prost.
hilarious questions they asked me
What?
at customs when I came back from Iran.
What?
They're like, do you have any lamb in there?
Lamb?
Lamb. I was like, it's like, no, I have no lamb.
Is that like a common thing
But-
that they bring?
I guess, but
Hmm.
I did have lamb butter. So I was like, all right, maybe it's not that random of a question. I had like a big 2-liter thing of lamb,
Of lamb butter? Wow.
Yeah.
Is it better than cow butter?
I don't know.
Pretty
I
tasty?
think so.
Is it
But
tasty?
it's so different than like,
I like
and it's the way they do it. It's
Hmm.
like a Kurdish way of doing it. The way they prepare it, I would love to tell you about it, but I don't know how they do it. I just know it's made from lamb instead of like cow milk.
Wow. A good friend of mine who's a Jewish guy, he like goes like fairly frequently to this guy and gets like a lamb like slaughtered from like the thing, and like he showed me the video of them like cutting the throat and
Yeah.
everything, and then dismembering it. And that was really interesting.
Yeah, the processing is very interesting. Like when I
Yeah.
went to Iran this last
It's
time.
like Dexter-esque, you know?
I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean you're killing something.
I mean, like when you go to Fry's or Safeway, what do you think that happens to them? They
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
ask them, "Hey, can you like
yeah,
go to sleep real quick?" So I can like,
yeah,
there's no, it's a part of reality.
yeah. It is
You
for
eat-
sure.
Things eat things, all the way down to like the
Yeah.
smallest
I
level.
feel like maybe it's important to like have like a firsthand like knowing of like
Where your food comes from?
yeah, right, yeah, like you're like eating a live animal. Like it's almost, especially like if you're hunting or doing it that way, it's like I don't know. I feel like you can even have more gratitude for the animal for like.
I think so. Like, or
yeah.
even at least knowing that the animal was raised
in a
like,
healthy
ethically.
way. Yeah, exactly.
out in the open field, got some sun, got some rain,
Lived a happy life.
had to run away from a couple mountain lions. I don't know.
And then all of a sudden, you know, in 30 seconds, it's dead. No, it's not like
Right.
a long, painful death.
No, no, it's-
Because that's the thing. A lot of people like hate on hunters and for going out and hunting. There's no painless deaths in nature.
No.
You know, they die of
It's
old
rough.
age
Starvation,
by
freezing.
starvation. And no, there's no dying of old age. They die because of the coming too old and unable to run away from coyotes or you
Or
know.
another one of their own kills them for breeding rights.
Exactly. Yeah, gets
You
killed
know?
killed to death in that way, or just eaten to death by coyotes.
I mean, imagine being a deer and you break one of your legs, you're done.
You're just fucked.
There's no like, ooh,
yeah.
let me go to the
Maybe you die
deer
slowly of a
emergency
staph
room.
infection.
Oh God.
The deer emergency room.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like maybe get an infection and just die slowly.
A lot of nature shit happens with
Yeah.
infections, right?
It's fucked up. You watch? Do you follow Nature is Metal?
Yeah,
They're pretty intense.
it is.
Yeah, I saw one of like this. I forget what it was. It was like a lion that like killed like a antelope or something, but it was pregnant and like it pulled the baby out
Oh
of the
my
pregnant mother and
God.
started eating like the unborn
It's
fetus.
probably like a lion delicacy though.
Yeah,
It's like
like fresh out the box.
fresh out the box. That's rough.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
There's-
I mean, you know, lions
Yeah.
got to eat. What do you, they can't go vegan.
No.
Like, it's just
Yeah,
like
I mean, that's just-
no
yeah.
way around it.
yeah, that's just the process of
And
life.
then there's scavengers already out there. So like, there's things that eat dead things,
Yeah.
and lions do the
Yeah.
killing, and they eat what they can, and
Yeah.
the birds and whatever.
Yeah,
come
and I
out.
feel like almost like the conscious understanding that this is how it died is maybe a more way, like you said, to know or like to go to stuff that was like raised ethically and go to like, you know, pasture raised or whatever, like do it that way. Otherwise, like a lot of people who just don't want to face that fact go to the grocery store and support like factory farming, which is horrible. Like if
That's
you
just
watch
basically like playing pretend, like, oh, they didn't suffer.
exactly, yeah, just
We're
because
gonna
it's a
make a
nice
post.
package thing. Yeah, I mean, I think I saw a documentary about factory farming when I was 19, and then like I went vegan for like 2 weeks.
Dude, we might have seen the same one. Is
Really?
it the one where the cows are like hanging upside
by
down?
one leg,
Dude.
Yeah. Oh.
For
And they,
like 2
break
weeks,
their
I thought I
legs.
could be a vegan.
Yeah,
Like
I
2
turned
weeks.
vegan like 2 weeks, and then I was like, no, I can't do it.
I think a lot of people saw that video and
Maybe.
like, went through that.
Yeah.
I was like, and then after like the 2 weeks, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna eat seafood.
Yeah.
And then after like a week of that, I was like, I would love some fucking steak. I went straight to McDonald's.
Back to factory
I'm
farming.
gonna go extreme. I was like, either vegan or I go to McDonald's.
Just go
There's no in
hardcore,
between.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. It's
What are you
crazy.
gonna do? You know, McDonald's
know.
delicious.
Yeah. It is delicious.
Oh man, here's another thing I brought.
Okay.
Because we were talking about like being in the moment.
Okay.
Being meditative.
Nice.
This is a handmade, hand carved
Oh,
from India.
wow.
It literally cost
No fucking way.
more than $10, less than $1,000. I'm not gonna tell you how much.
Wow, no way. This is gonna actually
I don't know
become
where you
part
wanna
of the
put
pod
it.
studio.
And I look, they modeled his face after me.
Wow. What is that?
Like, can you make his nose look Middle Easternish?
Wow, that's badass, dude. Thank you so much. That's gonna become part of the pod studio.
Oh,
Hell yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Wow, thank you so
So-
much for the gifts.
You're welcome. I'm
Wow.
Iranian, you know.
Like
I
wondering
can't
what I
come-
could give you.
Yeah,
Do you want a
be-
water or something? Would you
It's
like
not
a
gonna feel
water?
authentic, Joey. You should have already had it. You should- can't just like
I'm sorry.
just like pick random. You want?
Do you, do you want this paper bag?
We'll figure it out later.
Do you want a water though? I do have some water.
Yeah, I'll have
Okay,
a water. So that it can turn into piss later, and then I'll pee in your bathroom. Ooh,
you go.
all right.
It's sparkling. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Is this
Go.
one of the sponsors?
Yeah, official sponsor of the podcast, Liquid Death. I'd like to thank you very
Official
much.
water sponsor. 'Cause
Official
you have
water
many
sponsor.
different
Yeah.
sponsors, right? What was-
Buddha is an official sponsor.
Buddha.
Is that a
the
Buddha?
whole religion? I don't know. I know it's meditating. I think
It
it
is
is.
like very peaceful.
I think
it's
it
probably
is.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking sick though. This is part of the studio now. Hell yeah. I'm just
Awesome.
nice. Thank you so,
So-
much. That's pretty badass.
How is the setup going for Buttersmooth 2?
It's coming.
BSFC 2.
It's coming together. Yeah, it's coming together right now. The first one, I like worried very much. Like I was very much like concerned going into it because like up until basically 2 weeks, like almost no one was signed up. You know, like I created this thing and I had that thought, and like after I initially posted it, about like 3 months before the event, I like posted it. I'm like, guys, first event, all this stuff. I'm like, what if no one signs up?
Right.
I just had that thought and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna, you know, if I go to this and then just nothing happens. And then, you know, leading up into it, I just like worried about that. And, you know, luckily it kind of all came together at the end. Like I actually had to cancel one bracket, as you know, and, you know, create like a different thing to it. But like a bunch of stuff happened and it all ended up working out great. Like it just,
For your first event, that was very impressive.
thank you. Yeah. I was,
Like-
I was very happy with it. It went better than I could have
You
imagined.
basically had a sellout, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, there was probably 150 people there.
That's amazing. To watch one mat.
Yeah, one mat at a time.
You know?
For the very first event. You
That's
know?
amazing.
It was sick. Yeah, and like everyone had so much fun. Like one of my goals is to make it very entertaining for the non-competing spectator because that's one of the ways that like I'm just thinking of potential ways that the thing can grow and like jiu-jitsu can grow in general, and it's got to be entertaining to a non-competing spectator or non-practicing spectator.
Yeah.
And I had probably 5 or 6 people that say like I've never been to a jiu-jitsu event before, and that was awesome. I
Yeah.
had so much fun.
I was overhearing a lot of people like say really positive things about it.
Yeah.
They were like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get some merch. I'm gonna get some Buttersmooth merch."
Yeah, hell yeah.
That was sick. You
Yeah.
had like a merch section. You had commentators.
Yeah.
You had, you know, judges.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
you know, VIP seats. and
That's sick.
That was sick.
Yeah. I'm honestly, I'm just trying my absolute best. Like I tried to like not skip anything, not skimp on anything, and just like all I'm trying to do is just try my best. And I feel like the fucking universe like reacted and was
Yeah.
like it saw that and it just went so
It's like
well.
they just put too much effort in for
Yeah.
the universe not to pay
For it to
attention.
not go well. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it went so well and it was amazing. And this next one is actually coming together a little bit. I've already got like the thick boys bracket about half full.
Hell
I've
yeah.
got some legit guys that signed up.
All the way from black belt and everything.
Black belt
right?
and everything. Austin Baker signed up. He's a legit black belt around town.
You got the
Adrian
Flo and
Nez
Samoan?
actually.
Oh,
is
Nez
gonna,
is in there
Nez
too?
is gonna
Hell
do the
yeah.
thick boys. Yeah, he was a judge for the last one. He's gonna step out from judging and actually compete this one.
That's sick.
Yeah, so that one's it's coming together. I've got other people on the Short Kings one, the 145 bracket that we're talking about, are gonna do it, and so I think it's all gonna come together.
I think so too.
Last one, I was so concerned about like people not signing up, and then one thing like it's like when I sign up for tournaments, I sign up like 1 week out or like
Yeah.
2 weeks. I mean, that's just how I do it, and so I'm like, this is just how people do it in general. Like the ADCC that was just recently, it was like they cap out at 1,300 people, and like 10 days out, it was 800 people,
Yeah.
and then like 5 days out, it was sold out.
Yeah.
So almost half the people signed up, 10 days out or less.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah.
like kind of how people do it, I've realized. So
Yeah. It's kind of like scary to put your name on the dotted line sometimes, And then you have
Sometimes.
to like think about it for like weeks on
or
end.
months. Yeah, exactly. If you like sign up way early. So I think that's just, people don't sign up super early. So I've worried less about it this time, and more people are signing up, and I'm like talking to a lot of people. And I think part of it's like, because it's not a big tournament, and I don't know, people like think about it too much themselves. And I've realized the personal outreach, when I ask people like personally, they're like much more like, oh wow, that'd be cool, I'll do that. So I've been trying to do a lot of personal outreach and like just talking to people and suggesting matches, because I've got about like, I don't know, probably 10 people right now that are looking for super fights.
Nice.
And so yeah, I'm just trying to, I've been
Like just at different weights and belt levels.
yeah,
and
exactly.
Stuff.
So I've like just actually in the past today and yesterday, I've suggested 2 and I've made 2 matches. So
Yeah.
we'll probably announce those this coming
Awesome.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, because that gives them a platform.
Yeah.
And again, like just getting more matches, getting out there, especially like when it's just one mat. And
Yeah.
like everyone's watching you.
Yeah.
It makes it like easier to go compete at competitions where there's 12 mats.
A bunch.
You know? And it's pretty cool to see it come together. And this is only the second one. So
Second one.
can't wait
Yeah.
to have this conversation in 5 years.
Hell yeah, exactly.
Butter Smooth 87.
87. Exactly.
It's going-
In Las Vegas, Nevada, or
Right? You got
wherever.
billboards and shit.
That'd be sick.
Because I know you send it. So there's
Yeah.
going to be like planes with the flag behind it.
Butter
Yes,
Smooth Fight
FC
Club.
87.
Hell yeah.
Get some like big name UFC fighters on there one
Yeah.
day, and like other
Dude.
like jiu-jitsu people.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, even right now, it's like what events can you compete at and like fucking win $1,500?
Not many.
Not very many.
No.
There's some. Like most of them, you have to like travel for. I
Yeah.
went to one in California that you could do that.
What was that one called?
Submission only series, and that was cool.
SOS.
Yeah, submission
Yeah.
only series.
I've
yeah,
seen them
SOS.
on Instagram.
Yeah,
they
they're
put
legit.
on pretty good fights.
Even for that one, I think if you won it, they had another one where you could win $5,000 for competing, which is good. I mean, that's sick.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think that's badass, and I hope they grow. I think there's plenty of room for all
Dude,
of us. I don't think
rising
that's
tide, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's like we're necessarily
Not
even
at all.
competing with each other because I'm trying to create something very specific in my head. And as far as what I see, I don't see very many competitors to that. Like
No.
I think WNO is probably the biggest, like as far as closely what I'm
The way
trying to
they
create.
produce it and
Yeah,
stuff.
like they're trying to create a high level platform for the best competitors in the world with a rule set that makes the most sense. And I
Yeah.
think their rule set is like legit. It's basically what mine is. It's submission only, judge's decision at the end.
I like that.
And the criteria is basically what my criteria is. It's extremely similar. I took a lot from them, and so because I think they're doing it as far as what I can see out of all the competitions, I think they're doing it as one of the best.
Who's number one?
Yeah, who's number
Yeah.
one? The only thing that I do not like about theirs is that they announce who the judges are favoring throughout the
Halfway
match.
through the match or whatever.
A couple times throughout the match. And so I feel like it's a good counter to people becoming upset about the judge's decision. When like if the judges announce twice throughout the match that they're favoring athlete A and then athlete A gets their hand raised, there's no getting like, oh, what the fuck, I wasn't there's no people getting really upset about that. So I feel like it's a good way to counter that. But I feel like if you're athlete A and judges are favoring you, now it's almost like if you get up a couple points in IBJJF, now you just cool off the rest of the match.
Yeah.
Like you just take it easy and just try to keep your lead. And so I feel like that is a way that athletes are sort of gaming the rule set. And what I'm trying to create is something that is a rule set that's not, you can't game it at all. Like my major critique of like IBJJF or points rule sets in general is that like typically people get up 2 points or however many points, and then it's basically you want to coast the rest of it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. If you compete on one of those rule sets, like you should play the rule set.
Play the game.
100%. But I just don't think that's the highest expression of jiu-jitsu. I think the highest expression of jiu-jitsu is fucking guys
Submissions.
sending it together, trying to
Yeah.
get submissions. And I feel like the sub-only rule set allows for more creativity, more freedom to shoot takedowns. If you get on bottom, not a big deal. It's a submission only. There's no points. It allows more dynamic
Yeah.
movement throughout the whole match. And so
Reward risk. You take risk to get the reward, and then
exactly. And
Get rewarded.
the points make athletes very risk adverse.
Yeah.
You don't want to take much risk because it's a big deal if you fucking accidentally fuck up and get
Slip
down
on a double
points,
leg, you lose
and
on
now
that.
you're down, and it's like that sucks to come back from.
yeah, it gets tricky. Like
Yeah.
to have like the perfect rule set.
Yeah.
But
And I'm not saying I do either. Like part of my
No,
goal
yeah.
is to try to. Well, this is my best go at it, and I'm down to have conversations with people and try to come up together. Like my rule set will probably evolve as the years go on too, and evolve to whatever we can all agree on is best.
that's what it's all about, right? Just like learning,
Yeah.
evolving,
Yeah.
being willing to just in every aspect. Like, oh, I did this a little bit wrong. Let me do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not putting all your eggs in one basket type of deal.
Yeah, that's what you do. I mean, that's like how people become good at anything.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to be wrong at certain areas and take a go and just try to make yourself better every time.
Yep. So, the other day on my Instagram, or no, it wasn't my Instagram, it was my Amazon Prime pictures.
Okay.
They show you memories.
Okay.
I had a picture of you come up with Alejandro and Chris
Huh.
when we did the very first tournament.
Oh wow.
under One Love.
No way. Very first one?
The very first one.
Wait, Chris who? Chris who doesn't
Bronzing,
train anymore?
bronzing.
Oh,
Chris who doesn't train anymore. Chris that became a firefighter, and it took him 8 years, and he hasn't been back yet.
Oh, what the fuck,
He
Chris?
does have a cool mustache. But
Get it together. Get back out here.
maybe we'll send him this clip. Be like, yo, Chris, he was one of the very first people to win gold for One Love.
Wow, that's awesome.
His very first tournament.
Started off hard.
Alejandro was there. And you were there, right? You guys were basically our only 3 competitors in that competition.
How cool.
And I have this picture of you guys standing next to each other in your white belts, and it's all tied wrong. And shit. We even did like this little photo shoot where I was like, hey, you guys walk down the hallway like you're going into the competition. And you guys were like trying to look all hard.
Nice.
Your
Oh,
belts
you know
all
what?
tied
I actually
wrong.
remember. I actually remember that one. We were like running sprints in prepreration for it.
Yeah,
too,
in that
to
little
warm up
hallway?
in that hallway. Yeah, we
That's-
were running sprints.
Yeah, and you
I'm-
guys were like trying to bring your heart rate down, and I was
Yeah.
like taking pictures.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, these are my guys.
Let's go.
These are my jiu-jitsu kids.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. What the hell? So Alejandro's been training with us for that forever.
Well,
what the
he was
fuck?
gone forever, right?
Oh.
And then come back and gone again.
Oh, okay.
He's
Wow.
been in it for a minute.
He's
he
been
was
in it
like
for a minute.
15 or something.
Wow,
He's
what
like
the fuck?
22 now.
He should be higher belted than he
21.
is. What the fuck?
He's got to come to training.
Got to come to training.
Yeah.
Although, you know, Alejandro, I think, has like
He goes in
extreme,
sprints.
I think he's got extreme potential too.
Yeah.
Because there will be times that I'll roll with him. I'm like, dude, he's
Damn.
fucking.
When he
tough.
puts it together?
he puts it on. Like he's a tough roll.
Yeah.
super fucking tough.
Yep. Can wrestle. Good at like submission awareness.
Yeah.
Positional awareness. We have a bunch of kids like that.
Yeah.
I call them a kid. Anyone under 25 is a freaking kid. So yeah. I'm at that point.
Right? Yeah,
You're just a
exactly.
child.
He's
There's so much
just a
time.
baby.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm hoping like, you know, here in the near future he starts competing again, and because it's hard, right? Sometimes when you put it all together, like you train really hard, and you do one competition, and it goes your way or it doesn't, whatever. And then you're like, well, there's another one coming up. Are you willing to do that again?
Yeah.
And then again?
Especially when it
Then
doesn't
again?
go your way. It's
Yeah.
like, am I willing to do that again?
You
Step
gotta
out there
just
again?
keep getting out
Because
there.
losses suck. Like it's
Yeah.
like painful. You gotta like
Yeah.
deal with it mentally. You know? But it's just like part of life.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna take some L's.
But yeah, I think, I know he has everything it takes to like get to that next level. A bunch of people do it at our gym. You know, we have the heavyweight wrecking crew.
Dude, we've got some thick boys.
We got some thick boys.
we really do.
We have like 6,000 pounds worth of fucking heavyweight wrecking crew. Dude.
Between like 8 people.
Yeah. This is,
No.
dude,
Yeah, we've
they're
got
all so like athletic.
They
and,
are.
like,
That's one thing too.
they're
It's-
they're like hungry for knowledge. and,
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to see, you know.
Yeah. It is very cool to see.
For the longest time we had like no heavyweights.
Yeah, and now we've got like we're over corrected on heavyweights.
And like, oh, yeah. It's like,
Like when I'm like training and like cutting weight and trying to make 167 and stuff, I'm like, I don't want to roll with any of you.
yeah.
You're
dude,
way
it's
too,
just like,
you're
I
way
don't
too
want
heavy.
you to slip.
Yeah.
One time I was rolling with one of them,
Yeah.
and he was like on my back.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to, and I was in a seated position. He tried to throw his hooks on, and I fell forward.
Oh, no.
Because he slipped. We were
Yeah.
on those slippery fucking mats. I
Yeah.
hate those. And then it folded me like a lawn chair. My back hurt for like a year and a half.
Oh fuck. See, it's a serious risk.
Yeah.
The
It's
closer
like,
I get.
if you start on your back, I'll roll with you.
Yeah. The closer I get, I will actually literally be strict about like I'll roll with people like 20 pounds within me or within 20 pounds of me.
20 pounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Especially like you weighed that much before you made the cut.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
like know what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like once you get into like the 50, 60, it gets dangerous.
It will also too. It's really not a good look for what you're competing for.
Yeah.
You know,
They're not moving like that.
And often too, it's like if you're a 250er, a 260, 270, and I'm competing at 170, like often I can't like even lock a triangle on you. You're just too
It's
thick.
just- yeah.
So like I can't even work my normal jujitsu.
Like bigger people like that, like the biggest thing I can pull off on them is like an omoplata.
Yeah.
Because I'm like attacking one arm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Off to the
Just one arm,
side.
yeah.
Off to the side.
Sometimes I'll do like a no arm triangle on like a really thick person.
Put your fist in their throat.
just the neck. Yeah.
Right.
If it's
Like,
a really thick neck.
If you could just like flex and get out of my triangle, I'm like,
yeah,
"Ah,
it doesn't work.
Try
Yeah,
something
you just got
else.
a giant. You got a shoulder like a bowling ball.
Maybe like
It
get
just
the
doesn't
back,
work in
you
there.
know?
Yeah.
Bigger people like that. It's
Yeah.
You gotta like be experienced to like
Yeah.
be able to maneuver your way around. A bigger person, if you start on bottom.
That's how it be. Would you like another beer?
I'm about 80% done with this, but I can make that 100.
Make it 100,
All right.
baby. Let's go. I can give the toss for you too if you'd like. I actually just got these at Roll for Beer today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's called
Quick
a day
little
beer.
sponsor.
Yeah, so it's an official sponsor of the podcast already. Thank you very much, Day
thank
Beer.
you, guys.
Even though we just released the first podcast this morning, we've already got about a dozen official sponsors.
So where'd you say you get them?
Well, actually, I forget the bar's name. So
What
like,
event was it?
Roll for Beer. Have you been to any of them?
I haven't.
It's
I've heard about them.
yeah,
They
so-
seem interesting. What do you-
So basically, it's like an open mat at a bar. Here, first, let's cheers. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers. bud.
Cheers.
So I think Eddie from the Agro brand, and like one or two other people are the organizers of it. And basically, what they do is just like it's got to be at least quarterly. They'll do this Roll for Beer event. Where that's what they call it, Roll for Beer, and it's an open mat at a bar.
At a bar.
Literally at a bar.
That's sick.
Yeah, they like move all the tables out of the way, set up a bunch of mats. We do like an open mat for an hour and a half, and then like today there was a podcast even like on one side.
Who's doing a podcast?
Alex Martinez.
Oh,
for the
nice. BJJ podcast?
Foxcast. Yeah, he was
Nice.
doing a podcast while everyone was rolling and
That's
stuff.
fun.
And so, yeah, just kind of have fun. And then afterwards, like, there's about an hour and a half period. Everyone's like drinks beer and stuff, and pretty fun time.
That's great.
Yeah, it's.
No drinking before the rolls or what?
I mean, I'm sure people do. Yeah, I'm sure people do. But I guess it just depends on what your day's looking like.
I like Eddie
Eddie's
from
a very-
Agro. He's one of the OG like clothing brands, not just in Arizona and like jiu-jitsu. That's
Yeah,
that's been around forever.
yeah. He's a cool guy. A
He's
very
always
cool
had
guy.
like the coolest little designs, and like I've had many shirt like a few of the series of the One Love shirts he made for us.
Oh, very cool.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He makes all the Butter Smooth gear, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Really good guy
Agro
to
is
go
just
through.
one of his brands, actually. His main business is making gear for people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
So it's called Surf something. Fuck, I forget the name of it.
Something
But
like-
if you look
You're
up
like-
if you look up Agro on Instagram and can message Eddie,
Surf something.
he'll help you. I forget what it is, but he makes
That's
all the
cool.
Butter Smooth gear, all the sweatshirts, sweatpants, shirts, hats, all of it. He's made all of it. So
That's sick.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy.
yeah.
And
Look, support local, right?
yeah,
So,
exactly. And I mean, he makes good quality stuff too.
Yeah.
I've had like a bunch of really good responses from all of it. The sweatpants are fucking people love. Like they're so comfortable.
you got them on right now? or
No, I
what?
don't have them on right now, but I'm wearing sweatpants.
That's sick. So you have hats,
Yeah.
shirts, sweatpants,
And
thongs,
and thongs.
just making sure.
And
The
dildos.
banana hat.
The butter smooth dildo.
It lubricates itself.
Yeah. It comes with a stick of butter. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny that there's like it's funny that there's like Roll for Beer, like jujitsu and beer related. There's also like high rollers, like you like smoke weed and do jujitsu.
We had the Flo and Simone win the intermediate division, the
fuck
open
yeah.
bracket.
Like Freddie just coming out there,
Freddie just
fucking people up. I
that
think-
was really cool to witness.
That's
like
very
him,
cool.
Like getting out there and like representing and
It was badass. Yeah, that was really sick. I actually met my girlfriend at that event.
Oh, is that where you
yeah,
met her?
that's where I met her. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. I came to Coach Freddie, and then I met her, and yeah, it was just that was
that's
really
awesome.
cool.
You can't
yeah.
fuck with Destiny.
I know. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. She saw me like being a psycho, like, Freddie, heavy, 6 minutes of pressure. And she still liked me. And so that's cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's pretty buttery.
Yeah. But yeah, that it's hilarious that there's like beer related jujitsu, there's weed related jujitsu.
What else can we have? You
I
can't
don't
have
know.
shrooms. That would be too far.
Shrooms
It's
jujitsu.
like, what? That would be too much.
What about
That might be a little too much.
the meth rollers? Where you
Oh,
do
wow.
meth and like roll together.
It's like ran out of San Francisco.
I don't know. Yeah, probably. Right?
Is there shit on the mat?
Yeah. I think they've maybe hit the two that like you can do.
You're gonna have some people freak out.
Coffee and
Probably
jujitsu.
rip
There's
their arm
probably
off.
that
They're
already.
not tapping.
Yeah.
Coffee jiu-jitsu, that's pretty
That's
common.
probably that's
I would
probably
think
right
so.
there. Yeah. Someone's
Everyone-
already done that.
All jiu-jitsu people like coffee.
Most people in general like caffeine, right?
Yeah.
Caffeine's a great little drug.
I had some right before I got here.
I got some right now. Getting
Bro.
high right now.
So many different brands. Is that another sponsor?
Celsius, official sponsor of the podcast.
They're all official. They have like the craziest banner.
I know.
Like 500 different.
I was thinking, is there like any like legal ramifications that could happen from me like saying everyone's official sponsors?
No, because you're repping them.
I think it's like usually they pay people
They
to
probably
give
should
shout
like
outs.
send you free shit.
They should send me free shit. Because the only thing I say is an official sponsor is stuff that I actually like.
Right.
I went and bought it. I like it. I'm not just doing this just to the hell.
No.
I really like it.
They're like super official.
Yeah. I'm like thinking most people like give shout outs because they're paid for it. I'm just giving a shout out unpaid
Yeah.
and just pretending that it's an official sponsor.
You're not pretending at all. You're like manifesting it.
Yeah, exactly. Liquid Death is going to reach out and be like, yo,
Yo,
I like what you're doing.
Joey,
I like
need
what you're
you to
doing.
represent us.
I do really like Liquid Death. I think it's pretty cool.
It was my second time trying it, and honestly, it's just fucking water.
It's just water. Yeah, no, it's just water. That's all it is.
I
But
don't get it, but I like the can. It looks
the
cute.
can is cool. So like it's part of their mission is like death to plastic is what they say. And so they're everything is out of cans. It's like it says this is infinitely recyclable. You know, it's like it's just something
Just
that
keep
can
recycling
always
it.
could be recycled. They like donate a certain amount to like ending plastic
That's
and
cool.
and all of this. And apparently the guy who started it, he like you know, water and most health brands are like all very like positive, very healthy. Like talk about this is that, and they're like this is liquid death. And
You can't get any healthier than water.
or death. No, he took the opposite approach and saying like
Oh,
we're
wow.
doing liquid death and talked about
Pretty
like
aggressive.
murder your thirst and doing all this stuff and really went hard with I think like partnerships with people or like reaching out to people to sponsor, and it's become like massively successful. He built like $1 billion company
Good
in
for
like
him,
just
man.
like a couple of years. Yeah,
Branding is huge,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Just like believing in what you do and just
yeah.
Because, you know, that's one thing that I see a lot of like top entrepreneurs do. I'm not there, but I'm just saying, like, people see like the things they succeeded in, but they don't see like the 10 businesses that
Failed doing it.
horrendously failed.
Yeah, failed before they got
They
to that
took
one
out like $1
successful
million
business.
loan and
Yeah.
spent $2 million and they have nothing to show
Yeah,
for it. But
exactly.
then once it does take off, play, you know.
It's like that persistence. You just keep going and going and going until fucking you get.
I mean, that makes
make
sense.
it happen. Yeah,
just logically,
I
if
forget.
you keep trying,
Yeah.
you're going to figure it out.
I forget which like motivational speaker it was. Oh, it's actually Jim Rohn. He's like I think he's dead now, but he's like got like a bunch of really great talks of like he like that's what he was like a motivational speaker.
Jim
Rohn.
Rohn.
Rohn. Jim Rohn.
Okay.
Really, he's got this one talk. He's like in front of some people in California in like the 70s. And it's like about a 3-hour talk, and it's one of the best things. I've watched it like probably 3 or 4 times.
Is it on YouTube?
It's a couple hours. Yeah, it's really good.
I'm gonna check it out. It's in where?
On YouTube.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you the video.
Hell yeah. Send me those links.
I'll send you the deets. Yeah,
Send me the
he's
links.
hilarious. But like he's like, if you've got a pursuit, keep going until it happens. Like, why would you? You know, it's like if you had a baby and it's like it's not walking yet. It's like, how long are you gonna give your average baby until it walks? You're not
6
gonna.
months. She can't walk by them, breaking your fucking legs.
Exactly. It's like, how long do you give a baby till it walks? There's a
As long as it
timeline.
needs to.
As long as it fucking needs until it walks. You know, it's not like at some point it's like, oh, well, it's not gonna walk.
Giving up on it.
Yeah,
It's like,
you keep
guess walking's not for you.
exactly. You just keep going until it happens. That's part of like what it is.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I thought that was like a good analogy.
You know,
He said it in a funny way. He's like, how long are you giving your average baby?
like a serious place.
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah. Gotta walk right away. Yeah. Or you talked with like Hammy, it's like she's gotta be able to hit a triangle choke before she can sleep in a bed.
Right.
She's sleeping on
Totally.
rocks before the
That's what she's doing right now.
she can't hit a triangle yet.
Can't hit a triangle. She
Makes
plays
sense.
with rocks. I'm
Yeah.
not even buying her real toys.
Until she can execute some jujitsu.
I need like at least an osodogari
Yeah.
into an arm bar, and
exactly.
you get a bed.
That's like it teaches
Really
kids.
simple.
It's like goal setting.
You know what's cool is we're now that we're moving into the new gym, we're gonna have enough mat space where I'm gonna have a 4 to 6 year old class,
Oh wow,
and
nice.
she's about to turn 4.
Oh nice. So she's gonna start into it.
She's already 4. I'm so used to saying she's 3.
Yeah.
She just turned 4.
She just
this
like
month.
recently, right? Yeah. Oh nice. Very cool.
And
Nice.
she's gonna start jiu-jitsu, and we roll at home. Like, she knows how to do a single leg.
Does she?
Yeah, to an arm,
Is
like
she
a
into
mount
it
to
at all?
arm bar.
Is she like into
She
it?
has to be in the mood.
Yeah.
she's very,
Probably
like-
as with any like
Yeah,
real young
she's 4.
child. Yeah. She's a baby.
A little bit. I don't want to like push her crazy too much. Maybe I'm thinking like once she's about like 8 or 9, and if she hasn't competed by then, I'm like, all right, it's time to compete. But like, I'm not gonna push it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I want. She's around it all the times.
Yeah.
I watch jiu-jitsu.
You
at
literally
home.
that's your career.
She watched UFC last night.
Oh wow.
She watched Sean O'Malley win the UFC title.
Dude, but
That
by
was
the way,
pretty fucking
how
inspirational.
fucking sick.
That
How
was so
fucking
sick.
sick was that? That was so fucking
I
cool.
screamed, dude.
Dude, I freaked out. I absolutely freaked out.
It's like really cool to see like someone like just achieve like their highest, maybe not like purpose in life in general, but their highest professional purpose.
There's no
That was
higher.
amazing.
There's no
not-
higher
not
than
in-
becoming
not
a
in the
UFC
UFC.
champion. If
That
you're
was
if you're
so sick.
Yeah, if you're doing MMA, there's
I don't
no
even know
higher
him, and I'm
achievement.
proud of him.
Yeah.
you know?
I see him occasionally. I'll train at Tim Welch's
Yeah.
and see him like when I go over there, but it's fucking really cool.
Tim Welch is a badass dude too. He's
Very
got
badass.
a really cool thing going.
You know, one thing he posted after was like him and Sean, like they had to be 15 years old or something together. They
saw
were
that
just little
picture.
babies. Yeah. And then like them.
Sean looks like he weighs like 110.
Probably much less than that. If he can be to 135 now, he's probably not even 100 pounds.
Wow.
You know, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it just looked like little babies and now UFC champions.
That was amazing.
Insane.
So inspirational.
Insane. So inspirational. It was incredible.
if you
could
hate
tell-
on that, you're just like a hater.
You know, also too, what was really interesting in between the first round and second, I don't know if you were listening to like the coaching in between, like Tim's talking to him. He's like, "We're here right now. We're on a stool. Like we're on the stool right now." Like he was like, "We're like
Bringing him to
the
reality.
moment." He's like, "We're sitting on the stool right now." He's like, he became like present in the moment. Like let's
That's so
right
sick.
here, right here. This is where we are. It was really interesting. I was kind of drunk last night, so I forget exactly what he said.
Yeah. I had a baby climbing on my head. And I'm like, oh, Sean,
But like I remember he was just like bringing him into like presence in the
That's
moment.
sick.
Yeah, and it was really cool. And he came out second
some good
round.
notes to take as a coach too.
Yeah, exactly. Just
How he
presence.
slipped it, and then he like threw that
He
right hand,
walked into it too.
and then you see like Aljamain Sterling's face is like fuck, and he like closes his eyes, and then he wakes up on the canvas. I
Wow,
was like, wow.
incredible.
I got the chills. Like
Yeah.
when I saw it, I was just like, because
Dude.
we, when we go to train at Tim's, we see him around.
Yeah,
Just a
Yeah, he's-
normal guy.
Yeah, dude, just a normal
So
dude.
inspirational
yeah.
to see that. Like, oh wow, just like
Yeah.
one of us.
Yeah, just watching his story too, because he's been an Arizona boy, like obviously
Probably like the last
his whole
10
career.
years or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Arizona, and like so, I've always been like following him and watching him, and he just competed at Fight to Win locally. I've seen him all all of these things, and so it's just fucking amazing. Seeing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's so fucking
Congratulations to him and
cool.
his
Congratulations.
team. That
Yeah,
was sick.
so great for them.
Yeah. Another Arizona world champion.
Now they're Arizona world champion.
He had
Maybe
like
there's more of
Tinquinho
them.
in his corner. And
Tinquinho, Tim. Yeah, Ezra was
Ezra.
there. Ezra was there.
He's so tough. I
Which-
love that
dude.
kid.
Absolutely fucking.
Yeah. I like
beast.
rolling with him. And
He's a beast.
I rolled with him like a few weeks ago. I'm like, what weight do you compete at? He's like 135. I was like,
135.
what?
That's crazy. Yeah.
You're going to be a world champ too.
Yeah, he will be. I mean, like he's
He's a badass.
He's got the makings of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out there getting after it. He won gold at ADCC.
Advanced division. I saw
Was it
that.
the advanced division?
It was advanced.
Oh, good for him, dude. I'd love to have him on the Short Kings Buttersmooth Fight Club.
Reach out to him. He
I've
might-
got to talk.
he might do it.
I've talked to him about it a little bit before, but like now that we're closer, next time I see him, I'm gonna bring it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy. They're,
Yeah. Dude.
It's just anyone that like sticks around that becomes a badass at like martial arts, they know how to like, do things. Not
Yeah.
just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like they're good people usually.
Yeah.
Not everyone. Like we have like sketchy people out there. I like Conor McGregor, for example, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to hang out with him.
Yeah. Well,
He might piss me off.
He's like an interesting anomaly that like he's reached such a superstardom
I
level.
can't even imagine going from welfare to like $300 million.
That's insane. He's probably worth more than that now. Yeah.
Think so?
I think so.
300
He's probably
million?
close to a billionaire.
What?
I would say so. I mean, he won like 100 million just from the Floyd Mayweather fight. He sold his Proper 12 or
Oh,
like
he doesn't own it anymore?
well, he sold like just a percentage of it for a couple $100 million at one point. I mean, like,
What a beast.
and
I've
then
bought those. I know that he's selling them.
yeah, well, also too, if Proper 12, if he can sell a percentage for a couple $100 million, that means it incomes probably 30, 40, 50 a year. So
That's crazy.
Even with taxes and all of that, I'm
It's
sure
hard
he's made.
not to ball out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like being a normal guy. All of a
I
sudden.
can't even imagine. Also, the effect on your ego of like, I've went from nothing to fucking everything. Like, imagine like you gotta,
Let's
I don't
figure
know.
out. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Good for him.
Good
But
for him.
I don't know if I can hang out with them.
I don't know either. That's why it's interesting. Do you ever like read about Marcus Aurelius at all?
The shit you post.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So like he's like one of the main proponents of Stoicism, or like one of like the founders, or has like a massive contribution to
The way he
Stoicism.
thinks about it.
Yeah, so he was the emperor of Rome at like a very young age, and all like emperors, I forget, like basically every single emperor has been like a fuck up, just like a piece of shit, because they have absolute power. They're basically a god. They can kill anyone at will. They can have sex with anyone at will. They have infinite wealth. They basically own everything that's within. Fucking, it was like horses and stuff back then. Within traveling distance, they own. He was the emperor of Rome, and he was like, they call him the last good emperor. There was like 5 apparently, and all the emperors in Rome, and he was the last good one, and he had just infinite wealth, infinite capabilities, and was like a really good person. He has like this book called Meditations, where it was not a book that was meant to be published. It wasn't a book that was for other people. It was basically just notes for himself.
Oh, wow.
And saying like a lot of the notes are like, people are annoying. Don't take it personally. Like people are like gonna fuck up. Like you don't, you just got to keep trying your best.
Yeah.
And like, it was just a bunch of notes to himself. And it's really interesting that like, he's one of the people that have like, even a time before social media where he was just a god. Like,
Dude, if he had Twitter, he would have taken over the world.
But imagine when people were like that primitive too, and like just
think
like
like
probably
that.
truly
I've read
thought
some
he
of
was
his
like
quotes.
a god.
I'm like, he's way ahead of his time. Like,
super interesting that like this person thousands of years ago or 1,000+ years ago has like such applicable things to like today.
he might have got his hands on some shrooms.
Maybe.
knows?
Who knows? Maybe he was taking shrooms regularly.
It's like, wow,
Yeah.
Jitsu, whatever. Like,
Maybe. Huh. I kind of got to pee. Do you want to go pee, take a break, come
yeah,
back?
let's pee break.
All right.
have a
Pee break.
pizza.
Okay, good.
We just watch YouTube videos together. That's the podcast.
Yeah, I know. That would be funny. That would be good about having like a Jamie. It's like, like, oh shit, pull that shit up.
Hey, Jamie, pull up a fucking lion pulling out a baby deer.
I know.
Out of
Yeah.
a mother deer.
Exactly. So as I would
He
have
said
like, as I was,
That's
well,
what
like
I want.
as I was talking about that, Jamie would have been pulling that shit up.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, that's
what-
it. He's the best. Wow.
Wow.
So good at pulling shit up on Google.
He actually
That
is
shit's
like
the easiest
extremely
job
fast.
ever.
Maybe he's like a very fast typer.
No. Not
It's an
that
easy
fast.
job.
It's an easy job.
Taylor's down to be my Jamie.
All right, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Imagine all the shit we would have looked up right now.
I know. What the fuck? Gotta get her on it. There's just not very much room for her.
We'll figure it out.
I'll figure
Remove
it out.
those mirrors.
I'll have her like actually be part of the podcast and just sit right there.
Right.
Or like in camera view,
Sure. Like a
She's just like
co-host.
sitting there. Yeah. Although I feel like maybe it would like change. That's kind of what I wonder about like Rogan sometimes. It's like 2 people having a conversation, but there's just like one guy watching.
I think there's like monitors and shit.
oh, and
And,
kind
like,
of in
he's
front of
kind
him.
of like in the
Kind of
dark.
behind.
Yeah.
Because like if there was just like a third person here,
Have like a have like a curtain and like have her wear
kind
black.
of behind. If there's just like a third person, like they should like
You do it from
be
downstairs.
part of the conversation. Oh wow.
Oh.
Nah, she could be up here. I'm gonna clean up. If there's enough space, maybe like on the
You can figure it.
on
There's
the,
lots
on the
of
next
space.
studio. One of my goals is to get like maybe like a industrial warehouse that like our industrial building where I can host fucking the Buttersmooth Fight Club out of,
Sick.
and where I can also have a podcast studio out of, and then just like lease it to random people
Sure.
in the interim.
They can
Like,
have events,
exactly.
whatever.
It'll be just an event center.
Yeah, like underground rap,
Anything.
fucking
Yeah, exactly.
concerts. Seriously.
Rap fucking. Like guys who are fucking.
Just rapping and fucking at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'd be a pretty interesting show.
Yeah. That would be, I mean, if
Do
they
a
can pay
podcast
the
in the
lease rate
background.
and clean up, play the cleanup fee.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a really good cleanup crew.
A really good cleanup crew.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that'd be really cool. That's like kind of one of my goals. Something I thought
I
about.
think you'll achieve that.
Thank you.
'Cause I just don't see why not.
Why not?
There's people doing it.
Dude, the universe like wants to give people shit.
Dude.
The universe like
Yeah.
is just waiting. Like it's like looking for people to give success to.
Right.
It's just giving it to the right people.
Yeah.
That's like one thing that I thought about like early in my real estate career. It's like I would put this deal under contract. It was like a big check or something that I would get for it. Like maybe at the time it was like huge for me. Maybe still a ton right now. Maybe it'd be like 10 grand or something I was going to make on this deal. And I was, you know, a broke 23-year-old. And I'm like, fuck, this is sick. It's going to happen. Like I got so excited. We got under contract, meaning buyer and seller are in agreement. They've signed a purchase contract, a binding agreement. We're in escrow. They put earnest money up. Like it's, you know, it's happening. But there's a due diligence period where buyer figures out everything. And I've felt throughout my whole career, anytime where I was not performing in my personal life, maybe I wasn't trying hard, I was kind of half in, half out in general, those deals would drop.
Wow.
Buyers will walk away. This check that was going to come to me, no more. Yeah, I've always felt like anytime I've taken it as my fault, even though maybe necessarily on this particular deal, it wasn't my fault. I've felt that like because I wasn't trying hardest in my life, the universe responded and said, you're not ready for this yet.
No.
And like pulled back. And so even I got really close to it, I can almost, you know, it's like, it's going to happen. Like everything's working out so far. Something happens, they pull back, doesn't happen. And so, I don't know. I've felt that like throughout my life that like the universe is waiting for me to be like fully committed. And I feel like once I fully committed, like fucking shit started happening much more often.
I agree with that. I think
Yeah.
like I've experienced shit like that.
Yeah.
Even like with the opening the new gym.
Yeah.
God, I'm gonna have the coolest new facility in town. And I'd be like the shit right here.
It is going to be fucking sick.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Especially like it sucks when like I'm kind of like leading like a small community. Like
yeah.
the shit that affects me is gonna trickle down.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sorry, we're all not gonna get all that mat space.
Yeah.
We're all gonna have to like train out of this place that used to be a one-stop nutrition.
Which I think it's sick. It is sick, but at the same time, it's the dungeon.
I don't
It's-
think it's sick.
Yeah.
I
Well,
hate it.
do you hate it?
I don't love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as
It's
a
like
bit,
it's we're like, you know, we're waiting all this time to level up, and then I have to degrade and
yeah,
go backwards.
you level down.
You know, but it's gonna make everybody appreciate the new space even more.
That's totally true.
So
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to look at it for sure. And I like it a lot too, because like, I'm like, you know, I, around the same time that like we moved into this space, like I started dating Taylor and she trains at Impact Jiu-Jitsu and Impact. Have you ever trained there before? So
No.
it's like the aesthetic of it is sick. You know, like you
Yeah.
walk in, there's like a fucking like man cave at the front. There's like the stuffed bear, a fucking big, like really nice, expensive couches, a TV,
That's
all
sick.
this stuff. And it's super nice. You know, it's like, it looks aesthetically, it looks awesome. When they train like on open mats, they'll like put on this disco ball and it's like a nightclub.
That's fun.
It look like everything looks like very, very nice. And then so she came and trained with us, I think at the new space. And I'm like, see, we're a little bit less about stuffed bears here, a little bit more about jujitsu. So I was like, dude, we're just
no disco lights.
Yeah, we're about fucking, you know, getting better.
It's like
and,
Daisy Fresh.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're in the dungeon getting better.
Yes, you might run into the wall because there's no wall mats.
But that's the risk it takes.
I guess.
Yeah. But I see what you mean from the business owner's perspective, especially
Yeah,
like,
it's not fun.
dude, yeah. I mean, and also too, it's like I think on the 32nd Street side, it'll be like much better, kind of away a little bit from the riffraff. I think just on that side of the complex is
We're
like,
like, we'll be the only business on that side.
exactly, yeah.
You've seen the big ass sign we already put up.
That looks fucking sick.
I was just like, let's just get to the point. Can you just? I was like, we told our people that are gonna do the sign. I was like, ask the city of Phoenix what's the biggest sign they
That they
allow
allow?
us to point.
Nice.
We're gonna put that shit up there, and that's what they did.
Wow, that's badass.
Letters
That'd be
that
pretty
are, like-
expensive, right?
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, nice. Well, that's
No,
good.
We
Are you still
found
gonna?
like some companies they're like $16,000. We're like, what the fuck?
Wow.
And I called the next one. They're like 14, and I just kept calling, and it kept going down until it got down to like 7.
Wow. Oh,
Like, all right. And
that's reasonable.
Then I called, and then it started going back the other way. I was like, all right.
yeah. Nice.
Because there's only so many companies that do that anyways.
That's true too.
They're
Yeah.
not like a huge
Gotta
market.
do your research out there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what like it's like important to do that. I guess like a little bit unrelated, but like kind of. I just looked up. Which, by the way, I got what's his name? This comedian. I bought tickets for a comedy show. I'd love
Tim
to have you
Dillon?
go. Not Tim Dillon. I just went to him, and it was the funniest fucking comedy I've ever seen. Shane Gillis.
Yes.
Dude, he's like maybe the funniest comedian in comedy right now.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely hilarious.
I haven't seen his comedy. I've just seen him like on JRE and stuff. And
Dude, yeah.
I've seen him on Kill Tony.
Very funny there. Very funny at both those places. I went and saw him live. I saw him at an hour at the, whatever it is, the fucking stand-up in downtown
Stand Up
Phoenix.
Live.
Stand-up live in downtown Phoenix. Dude, funniest comedy I've ever seen. Like whether it's Netflix
awesome.
or personal, like I was just dying for an hour straight. Just absolutely hilarious. And so I bought tickets for, he's coming to town
Oh,
on October
sick.
21st. I'd love to
Hell
have you
yeah.
come.
Hell
I
yeah.
bought 4 tickets. I don't know who else is going with me.
Hell yeah.
I'd love to have you be a part. Hell yeah.
Maybe
We'll
Margaret.
find. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Taylor's going to be out of town during that time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Let me know how much it is. I'll get you back.
Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, I got you.
All right,
Yeah.
I won't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Well, so
Sick.
that's actually what I was gonna say. So I went to go buy it, and because I got an email like on Thursday or something saying like Shane Gillis tomorrow, tickets drop at 10 a.m. And then the next day I was just doing something, and I remember, oh fuck, Shane Gillis tickets. So I look it up, like Shane Gillis tickets. It was like $210 a ticket or something. $210 a ticket for 4 tickets.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck, wow,
It's like
that's
$840.
yeah. And then so yeah, it was like $840, and then like as I go to checkout, it was like $150 processing fee. So it was gonna be like almost $1,000 for 4 tickets. I was like, Jesus Christ. And so I'm like, wait, I go back to the email that I got before, and it said go to this link and then use Shane Gilly or discount code Gilly or something. It was like $45 a ticket.
What? Imagine if you didn't look up that link.
And like a $10 processing fee. So it was like $190 or something. When I typed in my contact,
You're just gonna do
my
it,
credit card
'cause
info.
it was good enough.
But then there was like this $150 processing fee. And I was like, what the fuck on top of this? And then I was
What
like,
are you processing?
yeah, I was like, what the? Yeah, but so the same exact thing was going to cost me $1,000 from this place,
Jesus.
or $190 from the email I got.
That's
like,
crazy.
That's crazy. There's just
Some
people,
of these, like the demand is nuts.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to take my wife and go to Austin and go to my favorite
Kill Tony?
live comedy podcast. It's called Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Dude, by the time it just kept adding up, like at first I thought, okay, like $250 a ticket, like fuck it, it's like a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
By the time we were ready to check out, it was like $1,200
Wow,
For
for 2
two
tickets.
people.
That's crazy. That's just for.
to go watch 2 hours.
That's not including like flight or travel or anything.
No.
Wow.
It's like, I guess I'm not going.
Wow. You should sign up for their emails. Maybe it's something similar.
No, the thing is that they do it at the mothership.
They
the
do?
new Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, wow.
Comedy club. And they have tickets for sale for like 12 to 16 months ahead.
Wow.
They're all sold out.
Wow.
So the only ones, like you can get like their, farthest away from stage is like $350 a person.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, fuck it, I'll
Which I
just-
think actually both of his is there's like a small room and a big room. I think both of them are fairly small. Like he doesn't. It's not like an arena.
It's not, no. But
Yeah.
if you're charging $350 a person, there's 100 people. What is
Yeah.
that? $350,000
Yeah. Wow.
for one show.
That's crazy.
You do 3 shows a night. That's
Wow.
like $2 million.
That's crazy.
Between the 2 rooms.
Wow, how nuts.
Good for him.
Good for him. Absolutely
Deserves
good for him.
everything.
He really does. Yeah.
Literally, like, the other day I was thinking about it. I was telling someone, I was like, I think he might be the king of the United States. Like, who else has that much power?
Dude, he's
Just,
he's
like,
got
talk
such like
about
massive
things and then-
influence.
Like, you know, let's like name some of the industries that he's affected in a positive way, right? Like supplements, jiu-jitsu, anything martial art related, kickboxing,
yeah.
MMA, recovery stuff like cold plunges,
Yeah.
saunas,
Think about
IVs.
during COVID, what a voice he was.
IVs.
Yeah, IVs. During COVID, what a voice he was of like, you know, if you're young and healthy, maybe like vaccination isn't the best thing for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, since then it's like, I don't know. Everyone, like my parents got vaccinated. I like encourage them to.
Yeah,
I
my
think-
parents did it too.
Yeah, I think it was like probably best, and they've gotten COVID a couple times. I think maybe it's probably helped, especially like initially.
My mom got it after the vaccination,
Yeah.
and she just had like the sniffles. But I was like, oh, no, maybe it would have been like that anyways.
Who knows?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I don't-
But like it was
not
actually just
risk it.
recently. I think it was like the FDA came out and said, "Hey, if you're young and healthy, probably don't get vaccinated." Like it was
Yeah.
the FDA or whatever, the WHO or W something. You know, I mean, he was just an alternative voice during a very like. It's so weird to have lived through COVID. You know, like it was such an interesting time.
Dude, it was gnarly, especially like
How owning a business during
owning
it,
a business where touching people is like the whole
literally
thing.
sweating on each other.
Just like,
Yeah.
let me just like get your neck and like get my mouth right next to your face.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be 6 feet apart and
There's
all
no
this
way.
stuff.
It's just
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
crazy. Yeah.
Like once we like really, because we did shut down for like 2 solid months, right?
We were like the fucking secret fight club at the time.
with the curtains and
Yeah,
shit.
the curtain. You had the black curtain in front.
No.
You remember you locked the door. Actually, you had to like knock
You
to
had to
go
knock.
in.
And I'd be like, peek
Who
through
is-
the curtain. Who's that? Us, Joey.
Yeah.
All right, come in.
Yeah.
That
How
was
interesting.
gnarly. I never want to do that again.
How crazy! I remember like for about like it was probably 2 months before we came back because like there was a whole period when no one exactly
didn't know.
knew what it was. No.
I was like, hey, Issa opened the gym. 8 people died. Oh my God.
Yeah, but like you know, there's probably just about every single person who trained got sick and got better.
Yeah, but everyone in the world got sick. Like it
Exactly,
wasn't just
and
like
got better.
everyone thought like maybe if you stay away from everybody, everybody got it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the kind of the thing. It's just like a new cold that, like, you know.
I remember like the first couple times, like I would even like have an allergy. Like I should go get tested.
Yeah, it was. I remember going to the grocery store and like thinking like this is the fucking infection zone. Like just like walking in, and
Someone
like I'm just like
goes, what the fuck? Get away from me.
if someone coughed, it was like assault. Like
Dude, for like the first month, we didn't know, right? I'm like
Yeah.
going home and like wiping all
Yeah.
my groceries down.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. And
It
I'm
was
like
crazy.
pretty cautious person when it
Yeah.
comes to germs and stuff because I'm just a
Just in
crazy-
general, I've always like wiped my grocery thing, like the handle. I always wipe that shit down.
Sure.
I think it's gross, just like touching what people always touch. But then like during COVID, like all those were, you know, like ran out. Like there's like I don't know, people were using them all the time. I've always done that.
You have to bring your own shit.
Yeah.
I had baby wipes because my daughter was so young. Just like baby
Oh
wipes
wow, nice.
everywhere I went.
Just had it ready to go.
Start wiping shit down.
Wow.
What a shit show.
Yeah. I remember I went with my buddy and like just trained in the park at like Tempe Town Lake.
Everyone's probably looking at you guys like, oh my God, look at those 2 people touching each other.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was
Wow.
like it was weird because there was actually plenty of people out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There was like still plenty of people like out doing stuff. You just weren't allowed to go inside of places. You know, you were allowed to like go to like go on a
You
bicycle.
know, it all
or
made
go-
sense. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Everything made so much sense.
Yeah. So interesting. Yeah. I think everyone was just trying their best. Like no one exactly knew how bad it was going to be, and I think a lot of like the 6 feet, like wear a mask, like that was just everyone's best attempt at like we got to do something.
Yeah.
This seems what makes sense.
Everyone wanted to go away. It's not like anyone was like,
Yeah.
you know, whether you were like, oh, this is the end of the world, or you were like, this
Yeah.
is bullshit.
Yeah.
You just played the game
Yeah.
and hope
Eventually
for
it
the best.
happened through. You know, it's just like very glad that it wasn't worse. Like we thought like initially it could have been like the plague or something.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I was shitting my pants in
Yeah.
the first month,
Yeah.
you know, and then
You own a jiu-jitsu gym. That's
I
like your
went to just,
livelihood.
Like, what am I gonna do? We lost 70% of our members.
70%
So I had
stopped?
to move back in with my parents.
Oh, wow.
That shit fucking sucked.
Wow.
I love my dad. I don't want to fucking live with him.
Wow.
Like, he's difficult to live with.
Yeah.
And that sucked, man. I remember when we got enough members to like move back out again.
Wow.
I was just like,
Wow.
thank God.
Imagine it could have been worse. It could have been
It was
like,
rough too because I had, at the time, my daughter was born in August 2019. So she's like 8 months old, 7
Oh,
months
wow.
old. And I'm like, oh my God, does this really happen to happen? Like,
right when you got a little
right
baby.
when I have a little like 6 months old baby.
Wow.
That wasn't fun at all.
Wow.
And I remember finding out we were in Prescott. We were in a hotel room because I didn't pay attention to the news. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just another shit that's gonna pass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I get a call from my friend. Like, yo, have you gone to the grocery store in the last couple of days? I'm like, no, why? He's like, there's nothing left. I was like, what do you mean? We're in Prescott in a hotel, right?
Yeah.
I'm like trying to have a little mini vacation.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, nah, shut up. She's like, yeah. He's like, for real, go look at the grocery store. And then my wife and baby were asleep, and there's a Safeway by or some kind of grocery store. I drive there and I'm like, there's nothing fucking here.
No toilet paper. No
Nothing.
paper towels.
I just went around like a man. I started like filling up my
Oh, wow.
grocery thing because I'm like, I got a kid and all that. I gotta try to get something.
Yeah.
Then I was like, felt bad. I'm like, I'm being one of those people right now that's like hoarding everything.
Yeah.
Thank God, like it never got that crazy with food. People,
Yeah, it
they
never
just kept
did.
restocking things.
Yeah.
But the only reason there was nothing left is because people freaked out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. People just went and bought like hoarded bought.
Yeah,
all
and
of
then
a
like
sudden.
randomly they'll be like, oh, people in the rice industry, they're not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
And the egg industry. It's like,
Yeah,
why?
exactly. And then they made like essential
Why do you have to
workers.
why do you have to even be near people if you're like growing rice?
Yeah,
You're in a
I don't know.
field.
Yeah,
It's like,
what the
what the
hell?
hell was happening? It's because everyone was just taking everything.
What an interesting time to live through. Like something that's just totally unexpected. I guess that's like maybe we could like use that like the stoic mindset actually is to like sort of understand bad shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like maybe something
no way
like
around
that
that.
is gonna happen again. You know? Maybe something because that was something that just no one could have ever
That's one
expected.
thing I was worried about is that usually speaking, I don't want to get conspiratorial, but usually speaking, any control the government gets, they don't normally just let it go.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever waste a good tragedy.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can like pass. People are freaking out.
Yeah.
They're gonna listen to whatever you say.
Yeah.
Let's like
pass some laws right now.
pass some laws and like
Yeah.
let's just keep them.
That's crazy.
Thankfully, we live in Arizona, which I feel like it's like kind of right in the middle. We're not too far left or right. Mm-hmm. I hate the whole like.
I don't like it either.
side, I'm in.
Yeah. I feel like it like perverts people's minds when they identify with a certain side.
Yeah,
It's like all
can't
of a
make
sudden.
up your own mind anymore.
Yeah,
You gotta
they
listen.
can't. They have to like identify with
Like
their group.
any national, international event that happens, people are have to like, let me go on this channel, like
See what my side thinks.
I'm supposed to
yeah,
think.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's nuts.
And maybe they don't think like that. That's not the actual thought process.
That's what's happening.
That's what happens. Yeah, they
Yeah.
just go and see like, oh, what is my side identify? And also too, like fucking social media, I think exasperates that because you'll only start following, a bunch of things that only
Yeah.
identify with what your side thinks. And so when a big event happens, you'll look online and then all of a sudden there's 17 posts about how this is the correct
Yeah.
thought. And then like, look at these idiots on the other side that are thinking this bullshit.
They're just gonna ruin this country and run
Yeah.
it down the toilet.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's like fucking the Barbie movie just came out, and like all of a sudden, like I had certain people in my life that were like, well, it's like the right hates women, so they hate the Barbie movie.
What?
I'm like, what are you
What does
like?
that mean?
Everything doesn't need to be looked through a political view.
Yeah.
It's a fucking. Did you see it?
No.
It was hilarious.
My wife and my mother-in-law went and saw it together.
So you're not gonna see it solo.
I ain't going. No.
Yeah.
I'm just not a movie guy. Like I
in
can't
general?
go to the movie theaters. I usually fall asleep by halfway through the movie.
Okay. Well, most movies suck, to be honest. So like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm usually not a movie guy either. But
I'll watch a movie at home, but like just pause it and come back later.
I do like going to the movies though.
Yeah.
I like eating popcorns
That's
and
cool.
large soda, Dr. Pepper. A lot of
popcorn and Dr. Pepper go together like really good.
So nice.
Yeah.
I get this like white cheddar powder that I put over the Harkins has
Bring
it.
your own cheddar?
Well,
No,
Harkins
okay.
has it, but like they also sell it also. So I'll just like buy some, and then if I have to go to AMC, I'll bring it and just put it on top.
How do you put it on top?
It's like it's delicious, but I mean, like it was hilarious, and not like honestly, I watched it. And I'm like, how do people like take a political stance on this fucking movie? Yeah,
It's a
like,
Barbie movie.
It's a Barbie movie. Like I'm
Wear
like, how,
pink and shut the fuck up.
yeah, I was like, what?
Go watch
I
it.
literally did not understand how people are taking this stance on this
I
Barbie
didn't even
movie.
notice that. No, yeah.
Yeah, well, because it's like I follow people on both sides, and like I saw right after Ben Shapiro post like this woke piece of this woke like he's just I think people that are so far
He's just
involved,
an angry little fella.
You know, he's a very intelligent guy, but I think that
Also angry and little.
he's also angry and little. I think people who are just heavily involved in the political world,
They can't help it, huh?
They look at everything through a political lens.
It's just more content.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They get obsessed with content and want to create content in that way. And
Everything is an opportunity to fucking freak out.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's like, yeah, so dumb.
I don't know. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to politics anymore.
Yeah,
I do know that like voting more locally makes like a bigger change.
it does. Yeah,
Because it seems like
which is crazy because then it takes actual fucking research. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know who the fuck these people are. All these local people.
I just like vote like this, like a zigzag, like you know when you don't study
Just
for your
guessing.
test, I just go A B C, B A B C, just go down the list. I don't
Which
do
that's
that.
probably
I don't
not
do
the
that.
best thing to
No,
do
it's
either.
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know.
I try to like if I have to like I'll just like vote libertarian for most things. 'Cause I'm like you probably have a better stance on things.
Yeah, for the last election, I was so like confused that
Voted for Kanye West.
yes, It's like Justin Bieber.
This is the guy.
running
He's
mate.
a
I don't even know. I did vote. I don't really want to talk about it. I
Mm.
guess it wasn't either one of the big candidates.
Yeah.
It was just like some random.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Kanye
guess
West.
this is cool.
Yeah. Right?
Easy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's like the whole two-party system is like perpetuates this like massive divide amongst people.
It's divide and conquer.
That's like what it, yeah. I mean, whether that's the goal of government or not, it's like what it's turned
It's what's
into.
happening.
It's what it's turned into.
I don't know. It feels pretty hard to like not feel like they're trying to divide people up.
Well, so the thing is like when you say they, it's like there is no like one person. It's like a
That's why I
conglomerate.
say they.
But it's
I
not
would
like
have said him.
it's not even like this like group of 10 people or something. Like the government
yeah.
is a conglomerate of thousands of people
Sure.
that are like, you know, like you say, like if you're leaving it for the government to do or take over this thing, it's like usually, you know, if it's like some social goal or like helping, you know, schools or something, you're basically leaving it to just some fucking nincompoops that like have this $80,000 a year job that they're, you know, just can't get fired at really.
Yeah.
And they're just, you know, gonna do whatever they feel is best, but they also have shitty lives and they're not gonna really try their hardest. Maybe they don't have their heart into it. And like that's basically what the government is. It's like this whole conglomerate of people who are just like sort of half in, half out. And then we have these major representatives that like these are the ones that get elected and are really the major decision makers. But the biggest influences on them are like lobbyists.
Yeah.
And people who are just going to pay them massive money, like behind the under the table, and influence their decision making through direct money. Like we don't have really any influence on that. So
Yeah, I mean, I can't afford to pay anyone to do any
100
political
mil
shit
just for
me.
something.
It's like,
Yeah, it's like
hey, here's $30. Can you let the
it's like, have you seen Dope Sick?
No.
That's a really good movie. I think we were talking about it briefly.
The one when we were doing on the way to practice?
Yeah, yeah. On the way to Tim's, actually.
Yeah.
Dope Sick is like a movie just about like the whole opioid crisis and about how OxyContin has like ravaged the United States and the world. And like one of the main things that it started with was they got this special FDA label that said that OxyContin is less addictive than other class 2 opioids.
Just fucking lying.
Just a straight label, a lie from the FDA. And the guy who granted this FDA label, that was the first of its kind, the only opioid to ever say it's less addictive than other opioids. This guy who did it, he fucking did it, and then 2 years later, he's working for Purdue Pharma, which is the creators
How is that
of
even
OxyContin.
legal? Like, how do people not follow the money trail? By people, I mean, like, who's in charge of fucking this?
The FDA.
Why?
Well, he's probably like one of the top guys at FDA. He probably like worked his whole way up through there. He probably like spent
Just
20
to do
years.
that.
Well, who knows? It's like maybe that's the thing. Like the fucking line between good and evil is not like so like distinct. It's
No.
maybe this guy like really had, he was working he was really trying to do better his whole life, but then Purdue Pharma came in and said like, yo, we'll give you $10 million. You just write this special label, and then in 2 years, we'll give you 15 a year.
Wow.
Come work from us.
Nuts.
And guess what? You only have to work 1 hour a year. You put in this 1 hour, you're an official employee of the company, salaried employee, 15 a year. You write this label, and it could easily be that because they've made billions and billions and billions of dollars
Jeez.
from creating OxyContin.
Sure.
So like fucking 10 million, 15 a year, that's a drop in the bucket to compare to how much money they made. So it was probably
nuts.
some insane deal like that where this guy had to just do something where he had full capability to do. It was maybe a moral decision of like, do I do it? It's not that big a deal. Well, they'll make this.
Easy to justify it when you get $15 million a year.
When he also probably makes $150,000 a year or 125.
It's a big jump.
It's a massive jump. It's like, his whole family is set for the rest of history.
With one paycheck.
With
With
one
1 year.
fucking stroke of a pen.
Yeah.
All he has to do is just sign off on this like special label. But guess what?
That's
fucking
rough.
OxyContin is like fucking evil that like
Dude.
perpetuated throughout the United States.
How many homeless people do you see on this? I mean, not as much in Scottsdale, but like in Phoenix, especially.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like zombies running
Yeah.
around, and a lot of them probably got directly affected with this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they wouldn't have fucked their lives up in some other ways, but I feel like there's a lot more homeless people now than there used to be.
Yeah.
And when you're like that addicted to something,
Yeah.
your whole life becomes chasing that.
You're like
addiction.
you're like
zombie, oxy zombie.
yeah, you're like a subhuman. All your whole entire
Ugh.
life goal is just to get this thing. It's horrible. And like how they started it too actually is like you should watch the series because it's incredible.
Sick.
It's called Dope Sick. Like they start in these bunch of like poor towns that are like small towns but like mining towns. Areas that's like there's heavy like labor. Like most of the people that work there, they're part of like either the coal mine or some sort of like labor force where their bodies hurt like all the
Yeah.
time. And so they'll go all to the local doctors over here,
They'll
and anyone who
prescribe that
has
shit.
something bad, they've got a little thing going on with them, prescribe them some OxyContin.
They're literally pushing it on them.
Literally pushing it. And then also too, they also went to, I mean, they had the whole thing is just so fucking evil. Like they were created this OxyContin. They also created a bunch of shell companies of like tried to create a whole pain movement of like eradicating pain in the United States. It was this like altruistic goal of like
part of
people
being a
shouldn't be
human.
pain. People shouldn't be in pain anymore. And so they went to hospitals all across the country, and like the whole, if you go to a hospital now, they ask you what your pain level is, and they made
The
it
1 to 10 thing.
yeah, the 1 to 10, it's like smiley face, frowny face. That was all because of Purdue Pharma. They made it like the
Some
fifth.
good marketing.
They made it like the fifth vital sign, like on top of heart rate and blood pressure and all of this. They made
Made it up.
pain. Your level of 1 to 10 is now a vital sign. It's
Wow.
something that like hospitals and everyone has to deal with just as much.
It's in like every urgent care, every hospital room.
Just like
every
if your heart
doctor
rate is
room.
some super high, this is a vital sign. You got to bring that down. If your pain is super high, it's a vital sign. You got to bring that down. So they made this whole movement to eradicate pain while they're also, I mean, just a horrible, horrible, evil company that did this. So
That is pretty rough too. Like
Yeah.
here, like imagine, you don't have to imagine this, but like someone that like their family member fell to this,
yeah.
and then they watch this documentary, like the anger that
Oh,
you're like, this could have been better, and they just
Horrible. And you
money.
watch the documentary too, or it's like a docu series basically, because it's like it's not an actual like documenting what really literally happened. It's like reenactments and like, you know, it pulls from a lot of people that experience this, and then also too like the fucking OxyContin movement, the opioid movement. It's been an obvious thing that's gone through the United States. There's been like an epidemic, you know, that's gone through the United States. But like you see the people's progressions through like the doctor who does it first.
Is that like made out of heroin or no?
It's
No.
very similar. So,
It's like a lab made.
basically,
Opioids?
yeah, like a lab-made heroin,
Yeah.
basically, like a pill form of heroin. Yeah, and so like there's another documentary like that's called like I think hillbilly heroin, which they talk about like it's OxyContin, which is the hillbilly heroin. So
That's rough.
Yeah,
It's rough to see, you know, like people that are like, you see them on the street and you're like, wow, like, especially like, I mean, they're all pretty bad to see, but the ones that you're like, dude, you probably like had a normal life a year ago.
yeah,
And now it's just like a oxy zombie or
Yeah.
whatever
it's crazy,
drug they're on. It's sad.
super sad.
Like, can you just like go away? Go be homeless over there. I don't want to
Yeah.
see you.
It's
I feel
crazy.
messed up like thinking like that, but
Yeah,
it's rough because like, you know, I run a business and then like sometimes this new plaza we're moving to, I'm trying to help eradicate them.
Yeah.
There's just like random zombies
Yeah.
walking around. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel bad, but you gotta go.
yeah,
You can't be here because we have kids that come by. We have
Yeah.
women, children.
yeah,
I don't want to see it. I have my kid, you know, my wife comes
Yeah.
and helps me at the gym and it's just so sad that they were like a functioning part of society. They were
Yeah.
someone's kids not too long ago. Now it's like people are kicking them out for just being there.
that's crazy.
I mean, it's pretty bad. Like one of them was sitting in front of the gym the other day and he's like cleaning his shoe with a toothbrush. And I'm like, hey, our classes are going to start in about an hour. You please leave like in the next 5 minutes. I'm trying to give him like a time. And then I like go back to cleaning the gym. I come back 45 minutes later. He's still cleaning the same spot on his shoes. I'm like, Jesus.
Huh.
It's just so bad. It's so sad.
It's fucked
It's
up.
like you said, it's like almost subhuman.
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
know, and
Like the
it's
drug
hard,
turns you
it's
into
hard
it.
to help them because they don't want to be helped. Like, do you got money?
Yeah,
Like, if you buy them a Gatorade, they'll laugh at you.
yeah, exactly.
They don't want to be hydrated. they
They
want to be
don't, they don't want like McDonald's. They don't want food. They want like money. A lot of them.
Most
Some
of them.
Yeah.
Some of them will take some food, but it's hard to help them too because then they'll stick around. Like, ah, fuck, this is horrible.
Have you seen that guy, the soft white underbelly?
Yeah,
He's has like a lot of
those
interviews
are
with people from
those are
Skid
pretty
Row.
rough to watch.
They're pretty rough to watch. Very
Yeah.
interesting though. It's like almost the common theme throughout all of them. They had like horrible childhoods,
Horrible childhood. Yeah,
and like fucking
that's why it's so cringe to see people just be bad parents. You're just like,
yeah.
like
It
either they're
sucks.
gonna like build character and learn from this, or they can become a shitty person.
a horrible person, and
Yeah.
it usually trends horrible more than a great person who's learned from it.
Yeah. I guess like maybe back in the day it would have been like more great people that learn from it because there's less drugs around.
Less options.
But now there's just so many ways to like numb your pain and just be a shithead.
Yeah, and you can do it in like a really like not immediately apparent way too. You can like become addicted to porn and just like video games and like just work this
Whatever.
barely job that just
Looking on
scrolling
TikTok
and,
all day.
just wallow in your
fast
house.
dopamine release.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
You don't necessarily need to be a heroin addict. You can just like live a life of fucking despair while, wallowing in all the things that's gone bad to you, but, covering it up with burgers and soda and, just.
They have
doing it
their
that
time
way.
and place, right? But it's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
it
dude, I
can't
love
be-
burgers and soda.
It can't be like
Yeah.
2-3 times a day.
Yeah. I also love beer too. And I love like alcohol, but
Be
like
reasonable.
you got to be reasonable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're good.
Yeah, they're-
Beer's good.
It's a fun time. Yeah.
It's a fun time, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like the fun's got to end. There's got to be some business.
Yeah.
There's got to be some like
Well, yeah.
working out, just being active,
Yeah.
trying to achieve things. Like I don't think I could do that. If I was drinking all day, there's no fucking way I'm gonna be like, Yeah, I'm gonna go teach today at 4:00. Like,
Yeah, while you're drunk. Yeah.
I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
done.
done for the day.
4 p.m. I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
I was like, as far
Even
as
that, just maybe.
maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. It's
It's hard
crazy.
being a human sometimes.
It is
but-
hard being a human.
But
What an interesting fucking place
it's the
that we-
yin yang.
It's a yin yang.
Just gotta meditate once in a while.
Wake up out of that shit.
Ugh.
It's an interesting thing just being born into a body. Just like, you know, you didn't choose your deck of cards, you just pick up.
You can choose how you react to them. That's
That's
it.
all you that's the only
Yeah.
choice you have. That's like the stoic approach. It's just looking at the choices you have, which is super interesting. So you were like born in Iran and you just like talked about, I mean, we talked about it over the phone when you first came back, but you just like went back for the first time.
Yeah,
And that
that was gnarly.
was crazy.
I had left in 1999, and I hadn't been back since. Every year, I'm like, next year, next year, next year, next year. And then, like, one of my favorite uncles passed away. And I just was like, I gotta go right now. I
It was
can't.
like sudden too, right? Not
Just
expected.
out of nowhere. It was a car accident, just out of nowhere. And, you know, we went and my mom didn't know yet. We had to go tell her. Once we did, the
You had
reaction.
to tell her.
Yeah, the reaction that we saw in her face, I was like, I have to like go with her. She can't go by herself. She was like fainting, crying so hard where she couldn't breathe. They got
It
gnarly.
was her brother.
Her brother. Yeah, none of her siblings had ever passed away. You know, so I felt like the urge to like go with her. You know, it wasn't the perfect timing. I had literally planned the trip in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember.
And I hadn't had my Iranian passport since we left. Right? It had expired like 20 years ago. And it happened to have come in on Wednesday. And I booked my flight to go to Iran on Friday.
Oh wow.
Like I was just like, I was meant to go. So I went, and it was a very like emotional, spiritual journey that I did not expect. It was a really good thing that I went. I just in really bad circumstances. So
Bad circumstances like with
because I didn't want to go like that because
yeah, of
somebody
course.
died.
you wanted to go voluntarily, but
I wanted to go voluntarily from peace and happiness and joy. So, but I'm glad I went. It was a once in a lifetime experience to like feel something like that. I don't ever want to feel that again, but it changed like the way I feel about life, you know, as far as like just being more grateful, being more thankful. Because he did have two younger kids that he left behind.
Gosh.
Two cousins I never met because I left so long ago.
you've got a pretty big family. Like
huge
each of your
family.
parents have like a bunch of
My,
siblings,
my
right?
parents, my dad has 9 siblings. My mom has 7.
Oh wow. So all
And
of
they
them
all
have
have
kids, and
kids.
they have kids, and they have kids.
Lots of kids. I grew up. Most of the kids I grew up with were my cousin's kids. Because my dad was the 8th kid.
Oh, he was oldest
He's the 8th out of 10.
or youngest,
8th youngest.
8th youngest.
Yeah, out of
Oh,
10.
okay,
There's
so
only
he's got
2
like
after him.
Yeah, so he's
So,
got
like,
like
the
7 before him. that
Yeah, I'll
were
be
all
like
older.
3 going to like my cousin's weddings.
Oh wow.
You know?
Okay, wow.
Or like growing up, some of my cousins, like I grew up with their kids, not them. You know, and then we just left, and that never experienced that again. Only over WhatsApp and Instagram. And
Yeah.
whatever. You can't really be close to people like that. You got to be like
Yeah.
sitting next to them. So, long story short, it was a life changing experience to go back. I was really glad to see the trajectory of people and freedom and happiness in Iran is going in a really good way. And this next spring, I'm going to take my wife and my daughter to have that
Nice.
experience. We're going to Iran again
Wow.
on a happy note.
That's
And,
good. Willingly now.
well, my daughter's 4.
Wow.
She's a little half white girl. she didn't know about Iran,
She doesn't.
but she's
this
gonna
is like-
find out.
Yeah, this is where you were born.
This is where I was born.
Wow.
I lived there till I was 9,
Wow.
and then just
And this was
boom.
your first time coming back since you were 9
first
years
time.
old.
First
Wow.
time, yeah. It was crazy.
You told me it was like almost psychedelic. Like
It was
coming
psychedelic.
through
One of
and-
the experiences I had that was really trippy was one of the last memories I had in Iran was leaving my grandma's house. You know, like just remembering from the backseat of the taxi, like waving goodbye. And That was one of my last memories. It's just constantly playing in my head. And then when we went back to her house, that was crazy. Because she's gone. She passed away like 10, 15 years ago. But like I could feel her presence there. It was just so weird. I was just like, whoa, this is like what it feels like to trip out not on drugs. For like an hour, I was a crazy person.
Wow.
Like in their yard, like seeing memories. It was like...
Because this is the literal place that
Literal,
this happened.
the last memory I had of Iran was
So
over there.
interesting too, because it's not like you can go visit like whenever you want to. It's like a very far distance.
17-hour flight.
17-hour flight.
17-hour flight.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, me and my wife is really cool and she's really down to like go to Iran. You know, so we're gonna try to go more often. We're gonna shoot for 1 to 2 trips a year. You know, because we have places to stay. Like I have, you know, like we literally have
A massive
streets named after our family. There's a middle school that one of my cousins attends that is named after our family. Like we have
Wow.
deep rooted history.
So many family members there.
in these towns.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was born in Tehran, but my hometown,
Tehran is like a city within
the capital
Iran?
city.
Okay.
Yeah, Elam is where my whole family is from. That's where the Kurdish
a
people
neighboring
live.
city or something.
Yeah, it's like a hour flight from Tehran.
Okay.
If you go through the mountains, it's like a 12-hour drive.
Oh wow.
Because
Iran
it's
is
just
big
like
then.
up and down and left and right and crazy drive. But if you
Wow.
fly, you just go through over the whole thing. It's like an hour.
Oh wow. Iran is big then, right? Or is because
Yeah,
of
I was
the-
looking at like square mileage. Like it's like a 1.5 or 2 Texas. Like it's
Oh wow. Okay, that's very big.
I
There's
guess.
There's whole like.
like 80 million people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. That's crazy.
Tehran has like 15 million people. Okay, don't quote me on any of this shit. I'm so bad with numbers.
Yeah.
But I know it's about 80 million people.
Wow.
That live in Iran. And it was cool to have like that sense of pride of being from there. You know, like
yeah.
I had forgot it. Because like I hadn't been there for so long. I left when I was a little baby.
Yeah, you were.
You know, and now I'm so proud of both of my roots, American roots, my Iranian roots.
yeah,
I have a little half white baby.
both are incredible.
It's amazing.
Great. Yeah,
It's just, you know. So
Wow.
I'm very thankful and grateful to be from both places.
that is incredible. And there's also like a lot of poverty in Iran,
Certain
right?
parts. It
parts.
depends on where you go. Like I saw Porsches, Ferraris, BMWs, Mercedes on the streets. Like, but at the same time, you might see a couple poor people here and there. It's pretty rough for some people. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I have a huge family. They're all doing good. Thank God. You know, they're all doing good. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, is that in praise to Allah?
Yeah, some shit.
Nice,
It was good.
nice.
It
Well,
was
that's
good. Like it was good to see everybody, and you know, one of my fears was like, I'm gonna go back, and everyone's been like, where the fuck have you been?
Oh yeah,
You know, like why haven't you came back? Nothing like that.
they were just so happy to see.
So
you.
happy to see me. Like we had never. It was like I never left.
It's a difficult travel. I'm sure they're understanding. It's
Yeah,
not
but it was
it's
like in my head, you know, like oh, they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, fuck you.
Where you been?
You traitor.
Oh wow.
I don't know.
You
Like,
American trader.
Yeah,
They probably
but no.
love to see like what you're doing here.
sure.
in the
Americans
States.
love to go to Iran. Iranians love to come here. It's just people are people. We,
Yeah.
you know, we
Wow.
all want the same thing. We want a roof over our head. We want to be able to eat some food.
What an interesting perspective, like you are
Yeah.
able to have, like from that, like going and looking at, like see what people are going through over there, like what
There's a lot of the same,
a lot of the same
which was really cool to see. Like it's just people are people.
people are people.
People are just like living life. You know?
Are there like big differences like between Iran and
People
America?
are a lot more hospitable, which like
Over there.
threw me off.
Oh
Like,
really? Huh.
Dude, like they're giving me like 3-4 course meals,
Oh wow.
bringing me
They
tea
wanna treat
over.
you.
They
Yeah.
want to treat you. Like,
That's really
they're like
nice.
that to everybody.
Oh wow. Huh.
Which kind of like, even like last night, not gonna name any names. I went to like a friend's house,
Yeah.
and like I'm there, and like my daughter was like, "Oh, hungry, whatever." They
Yeah.
didn't offer to bring food. So I'm
Okay,
just
yeah.
like, I guess I'm gonna order DoorDash
Yeah.
and feed your ass. So I'm in your house.
Yeah. That's one
But
thing you want to be a
it's
good
like
host.
yeah. It's just like they really
That's
take
the culture. It's like you
hospitality-
you're
like,
at my
super big
house. I
time.
want to take care of you.
Big
I
time.
want to eat. I want to feed you. I
Big
wanna,
time.
Yeah, just like take care of you.
You know, but it's
wanna
just
bring you gifts, you
difference
bring
of
me
culture.
gifts.
Sure, I'll bring you some saffron.
Thank
and a
you
Buddha.
so much. Wow.
But
That's
it's just
amazing.
different, you know. there's a lot of really cool things that goes on here. Like people are less likely to take things personally here.
Take things
Iran,
personally?
like take that shipper. Like,
Oh,
they don't-
wow.
Like,
Like
if
what?
you go to their house and they don't like give you a 4-course meal, you're like, oh, they must not want me over. It was only 1 course.
They did not care about us
It's
at
only
all.
lamb. Yeah, I need 3 different meats.
Wow. Huh.
Where's
That's
the
a-
hookah?
They
Whatever.
take personally over there?
They do, yeah.
Huh. Wow.
And like another thing that's different is like no matter what time people show up to your house, you have to like invite them in and like be nice. Like I'm like on my my cousin's house. I'm sleeping at their house. Dook dook dook. Like 11 o'clock at night, people are just like coming by.
Wow.
Hey, what's up? Let's hang out. They're like, oh, welcome,
Sure,
welcome.
okay. All right.
I'm gonna-
4-course meal. Yeah.
Right. Like, start cooking.
Yeah. Wow. Huh.
You know, I like both cultures.
Yeah.
The American culture is amazing. The Iranian culture is amazing. It's just different.
Yeah. Wow.
Just take it for what
Such
it
a
is.
learning experience.
It's
too.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I need to come back here more often. You know.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. I'm really glad that happened, and I
Me
hope
too.
like I hope
was a
your, your next trips now will be like voluntary and like much more like
Voluntary. We're
love.
planning it. We're trying to go in late spring, so it's not like too cold there, but it's not too hot either.
What's the weather like? Is it like
Well,
opposite of us because they're so far away? or, like,
No, it's like because in the equator, it's like pretty aligned.
They're on the equator.
No, they're like around the same lineage as
Pretty
the United
close.
States.
Oh, like the same longitude or latitude.
Whatever the fuck.
One of those. The
I don't
one
even
that's
know why I
the
said
equator
equator.
one?
I should have never said that. Like I don't know. It's pretty similar to like I would say Elam, which is my hometown, is pretty similar to around the Prescott area. They have the 4 seasons. It snows. There's like
Okay.
spring, fall, summer.
Maybe slightly higher
The
elevation
summer
than
is
us.
a little bit hotter than Prescott. The winter's the same, spring's the same, fall's the same.
Interesting. Wow.
Like Elam is about 5,000 feet above sea level, which is what Prescott,
is. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to like be like, oh wow, look, there's not all deserts.
Yeah.
I knew that already because I mean I grew up there, but
Got the diversity of.
yeah, of course there's deserts in Iran. So is there in the United States, right?
Yeah.
It's like someone coming to Phoenix and be like, that's what United States is all swallows and
Yeah.
cactuses and there's no
You
trees.
drive 2 hours and it's like pine trees
Pine
everywhere.
trees. That's
Yeah.
how Iran is. Depends
Oh,
on
wow.
where you're at.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I had a good time.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you experienced that too, and I'm
Yeah.
also glad that you came here at a young age, and like you're a good friend of mine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really fun to do the podcast with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't wait for future episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And,
I don't think I could top that, so let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm just want to say I'm proud and happy to be your friend and seeing you go through life and fucking kill it.
Well, thank you, man. I'm very proud and happy to be your friend as well.
One
So-
last cheers.
All right, cheers, my brother.
Salamati.
Salamati. Well, thank you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the No Credentials Podcast. I'm here with my very good friend, Issa Abel. Where can they find you, Issa?
At One Love Grappling Arts.
One
and
Love Grappling
at
Arts.
Issa Abel on Instagram.
At Issa Abel on Instagram. And if you're interested in coming training jiu-jitsu, come train with us. Issa is a badass black belt, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in Arizona. One of the main reasons I started training under you as a white belt. I'm very just stoked about your game. I'm impressed by your game, and I love to glean from your knowledge. And I'm a brown belt at his gym, and yeah, super excited.
Let's keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on, baby.
That's the fun. All right,
Os.
let's
Thanks,
go.
brother.
Thank you.
Os.